It is the Wednesday edition. I love Wednesdays, man. The Bryan Bulaga edition, the Homer edition. We're going to hear a little bit of my exchange with Matt Lafleur on a couple of different topics, and I'm eager to get your thoughts, along with Tausch's edition of Wilde and Tausch. On 94.5 ESPN Milwaukee, 100.5 ESPN Madison, 1430 ESPN Beaver Dam. Boy, that's a big video shot of just me in the Wilde family basement studio right now. Oh, there's old boy. That's a lot of me to look at, I'll tell you that. 1430 ESPN Beaver Dam, ESPNWisconsin.com, the ESPN app, your Alexa smart speaker, streaming live video, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and, of course, everything you need on WisconsinOnDemand.com and the Wisconsin On Demand app. I'm Jason Wilde in Green Bay. Jesse Nelson is in the Everlight Solar ESPN Madison studios. Ooh, fancy schmancy on the video.
This new setup, huh? A little better than the narrow strips for you. You're welcome.
Interesting that you would choose to make yourself the largest different? Of the three.
There.
Okay,
yeah,
now
Tausch is 20 seconds behind.
Yeah, this is going to be a battle. I'm telling you right now. And
I just won't talk as much. How's that? There'll be some folks I know, retired Navy fella, and maybe Dennis would probably be more excited if that's how it plays out.
Not true. From the Gruber Law Offices, One Call, That's All Studios at the Avenue and the 3rd Street Market Hall in Milwaukee, it is your number one Sacramento Kings fan, Peja Stojakovic, aficionado. It is Mark Tauscher. Tausch, good morning. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Good win for the Bucks last night. The Kings. There wasn't a ton of intensity in the building last night at Fiserv. Bucks came out ready to roll.
Well, they were intense then.
Yeah, they dominated from the jump, and it never. I mean, I think they cut it to 11 late, and then that was it was Rhapsody. Like, I don't know.
When did you start the post-game show?
That's what I was just gonna say. Why don't you take it from there since there's no delay? I thought they could have probably started the post-game show at halftime. I know they can't because JG actually does the color commentary. So that would be interesting if he does that and then during the commercials or Digi only started the post-game. We can get next time we have Justin on. I'll see if he's got that bandwidth if he can do it.
We had a debate in the office here yesterday. I think the Sacramento Kings are the most obscure of the 4 professional sports leagues teams. Like, they're the Jacksonville Jaguars of the NBA. But when you think of, like, memorable NBA teams, like, they're
Charlotte
so
Hornets,
forgotten.
bro. Charlotte Hornets.
The New Orleans Pelicans?
No, you got Zion. At least they had AD. I think the Charlotte Hornets might be that team. Toronto Raptors, but they won a championship. You could put them in that same ballpark. Take hockey out of the equation because you could sit there and say, I bet you couldn't even name
the
what
Ottawa
cities
Senators.
Are the Utah Jazz just living off
the Jazz,
of the
too much Karl Malone
era?
Yes. Yep. Yeah, I think Jesse's onto something when he says Sacramento and Charlotte would be the 2 teams that would. I don't even know if they're the Bobcats or the Hornets yet. That's where they're at.
Just because you know who Zion Williamson is, like, do you know what kind of NBA career he's had?
Not great.
Pelicans, by the way, 9-32 at the bottom of the NBA's
Smoothie
Western Conference standings.
Smoothie Center, which is smooth.
All right, so you went to the Bucks game. Did you see David Gruber? Did you sit in his seats?
Did not sit in David's seats. Got to spend some great time with Gina and the great team at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. A couple other partners we got to hang out with. It was a fun night, and you know what? A lot of times when you're sitting and watching games, you really want to watch games, and then there's times you come down and you just want to BS. Last night was more of a BS night for me. Watched some of the game, and it was Giannis dominating. Sacramento was not really into it, and so we kind of deuced it. That was so it was a perfect kind of blend of where we were at.
So when you're in a social setting like that and you're not necessarily uber interested in the actual game, would you say you're a vocal leader on taking the event and the conversation away from basketball? Are you kind of are you the stir that straws the drink in the social circle there?
Oh, the stir drawer. That's a good question. I would say I'm more interested in what they're interested in.
So you're more of a
makes sense.
listener.
No, I mean I like to drive conversation, but last night was a lot of Packer. There was a lot of Packer talk. There's a lot of other stuff that we got into, but for the most part, the Packers season ending, and then a couple of partners real interested in the Wisconsin Badgers and where the football program's going. So that was kind of more of the, we didn't get into a lot of geopolitical or any of the other stuff that I know you're always
Elon
interested
Musk.
in.
Yeah.
This was more what you would think we would talk about.
So did Jordan Love's leadership come up after what Matt
did
LaFleur
not.
said yesterday?
It did not. I think the
It's gonna come up
concept
now.
of Minnesota Vikings and the Packers and whose future, all of that stuff, it was more how the season is viewed by our fan base. That was more probably in line than dissecting Jordan Love's leadership.
So
Jason, let me ask you this. Is Jordan Love a good leader?
I think he's a good teammate.
So you're saying no, but you don't want to say it because you don't want to get clipped.
No,
Okay.
I think he's a good teammate.
So he's not a good leader then.
I didn't say that.
But you did by not saying it.
You
get what I'm
doing
saying?
it. You're doing it again.
I think
What am I doing?
Tausch is winning this one so far.
Yeah, Jason, I
driving
literally
the
asked
conversation.
you. You continue to say I don't ask you enough questions. I like
I don't-
asking you questions.
I actually don't
You don't ever
continue to say
answer
that.
any.
Yeah.
Here's the deal. You don't answer questions.
Here's the
you
deal.
respond and ask more questions off of my questions. It's a pretty simple question. You've known Jordan for a long time now.
I did not ask a question back. I answered your question. Not the way you didn't like the way I answered it.
No, I didn't mind it, but you answered it by not answering it.
So I think he has some very good leadership qualities.
Hard worker.
I
Okay,
think
let's list them. Hard
he
worker.
works. I think he's got a really good work ethic that guys see.
Good dude.
I think he's. I'm sorry.
He's a good dude. He's
He
a
is
good dude.
definitely a
Guys
good
can approach
person.
him. He's
Yes.
approachable yet.
He is definitely
I want
approachable.
to. Do you want to get it to the point where Jordan Love feels unapproachable? Because that's when
No.
you know you're a dog. No,
You tell me. You're the one who played in the NFL.
I think
I don't
think
want my
from
leaders
here's
to be
the deal.
unapproachable.
This is what I want. I want you to be so blank and good that you do have that. When I got into that locker room and Brett Favre was a two-time or three-time MVP at that point, I want it where guys are, whoo, that's Brett blank and Favre.
All right, now
And
wait a minute.
still be able well, if you'd let me answer my own question, yes, I do want that because that means he's a dog. But I also want to say, hey, and Brett says, hey, you want to go play a little golf? That's where I want to be with my quarterback. I want my quarterback to be a blank star
so you
and be
don't-
unapproachable from the outside world.
No, but you don't. You want him to be initially unapproachable because he's so good that you,
Yes.
as a new teammate, are nervous. But as soon as you meet him the first time, after that, you want him to be approachable.
100%. That's
Okay,
what
but
I
that's not
literally
what you
just
said.
No, that is what I said. You cut me
Check
off.
the tape.
Tom Brady, go ahead, check the tape, Joshy. Joshy's back here just grinding today. That is what I'm looking
Cutting
for.
up the audio from Matt LaFleur yesterday?
Well, it looks like, just judging by I have the screen up here, it looks like something about chocolate chips and banana bread seemed to have kind of dominated Jen, Gabe, and Chewy this morning. So I don't know if we'll get into that later. What you're looking for is, and I remember, Brett trying to make sure he was available to people. Could he have been better? I'm sure he'd tell you yes. I think this
Separate
is one of the
locker
things
room.
Aaron Rodgers, well, that was at the end. Aaron Rodgers was phenomenal at that. I think he took a lot of pride in going to meet the last guy that just got picked up and what college he went to. We used to play in the hot tub. We'd play like little trivia games. Where'd this guy go to school? And try to figure out who.
Tub.
That was a big get a good soak. That's the kind of stuff you're looking for. But to say you don't want your quarterback, I want my quarterback to be a star. because there's so many good things that come from that.
I think when you say the phrase unapproachable, that is a negative thing. If you want to say that you're nervous the first time you meet him because he's such a big star.
Isn't that maybe a little unapproachable?
And then he shows that he is
I am
very approachable. That's what I want. I don't want to get bogged down in this. So he's approachable. Okay. And he's certainly not. Now, there were some guys in last year's draft or this year's draft class who were like, that's instead of the Randy Moss clip on the sideline, that's Brett Favre right there. They were like, that's Jordan Love. I'm not quite sure that he had reached that point. Yeah, there
was there?
At least 2 draftees. I got to go back in the archives and see.
Chipotle Ben?
He was on the team last year already.
I know.
But I think he's very approachable. Matt Lafleur said yesterday he's one of the guys. Now, I would ask you, is that good for leadership? Or if you're one of the guys, does that mean you're not stepping out far enough to lead the guys?
It's a tricky question.
Thank you.
You, as the quarterback, if you're a star, you're going to be above the fray. That's just the reality. You still want to be one of the guys. So it's a combination, but it's not one of the guys where you're out doing all the stuff that guys do, because star quarterbacks can't do that. Linemen can, I think. I don't know if you can in today's society. We could back then. So when you look at it, I want my quarterback to be with us when he wants to and when we want him with us.
Okay.
I want him to have our backs, and I want him to be dialed in. I'm not – that's where you build that relationship. It's the quarterback has to understand, and this is a hard thing for a guy, especially that was – drafted the way Jordan was and had to sit. You have to realize how impactful you are to everybody in the building. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times it's more you're so focused on what you're doing that you don't see the big picture until you see the big picture. And sometimes it could be 3 or 4 years later. And it's, I didn't know that I had that kind of impact. I didn't know that I could do this. I didn't know, if I don't say hello to Lindsay walking down the hallway to get in, that Lindsay's going to go back into the sewing room or to the equipment room or whatever and say, my Jordan's a jerk. He didn't even say hello. Like, those little things matter as when you're that guy. And that's part of that process. And I think trying to figure that out is just as important as all this other stuff. So the thing, and I think this is why Matt Lafleur, I don't know if he did this because, he knows how conversations go and how narratives get formed. When you have the comments that he had, you obviously jumped on him, and seeing where Jordan needs to take his leadership in order for this team to go to the next level is going to be a storyline this offseason strictly because of what we heard yesterday at Matt's press conference.
All right, so let's hear what Matt Lafleur said, because I think on the other side of the coin, it also eliminated, for the most part, not permanently, but for the news cycle, any discussion about how he played. We're not talking about his inconsistent play.
Well, I talked about it yesterday.
Well, maybe you did.
I think if people are evaluating Jordan Love, I think people are saying it was inconsistent.
What I'm saying is that the headline story that came out of this for everyone was what Matt Lafleur said about Jordan Love's leadership. Here is what he said.
I think the next step is just to continue to evolve as a vocal leader. I think that just kind of comes with the position naturally. And I think he's taken steps to get there, but I think he can really demand a lot because the locker room they respect him, and they respect him not only as a person, but by the work he puts in. I mean, he's a grinder. He's one of the guys. I think that's one of his best qualities is he is one of the guys. And but they all respect him, but I think he can, when things aren't quite right, I think he can voice that as well. When guys aren't quite doing what they're supposed to be doing. And he's one of the guys I kind of talk to about that, because I just think it means more when it comes from your quarterback than it does from me or one of our other coaches.
So when he said right,
That's
so let me go back to your original question. I think that he has some of the leadership qualities that you want in your quarterback. I also think he lacks one of the things that at times Aaron Rodgers rubbed guys the wrong way with, and I would argue that players of your era, even though you're not that old, took things differently than players of this era. Because I think Aaron Rodgers being harsh and chewing guys' tails, I don't know if some players of this era where there's a little more coddling and everybody gets a trophy and all the things that we complain about, those manifest themselves with professional players now. Those guys have grown up now. They're 20-something-year-old players. And you heard, I always bring this story up, talking to Romeo Doubs before last year in training camp 2023. I learned a lot from Aaron, even though he barely talked to me. Then I text Rodgers, and he's like, I had breakfast with the guy like 4 or 5 times in camp. How much more does he want? Well, this is what I'm saying. A player like that needed more. And my argument with Rodgers was, even if you thought you did enough, apparently it wasn't for him.
I don't know, man. I get it, but it can't just be tailor-made to one person.
I understand. What I'm saying, but the point I'm making, let's not get bogged down in the Rodgers thing. That is an aspect.
No, I was getting more bogged down in the Dobbs thing, actually, not the Rodgers thing.
Well, I think subsequently, some of the other things that happened with Romeo Doubs cast that interaction for me in a different light. I would 100%. Absolutely agree with that. So, but at the time, I didn't know that because I just thought he was an even-keeled guy. So I think Aaron Rodgers could get after guys. Do you want to have this discussion or not? Because I want to get the Bulaga.
I do, but okay. I just I still would love for you, when you made an outlandish statement like you did, and I called you on it 3 times, and then something like that happens.
Who am I apologizing
to me?
Everybody, really.
I'm apologizing to you?
Well, you said he's the most even-keeled dude you ever covered in your career, and then he does what he did, and then you come back and you're like, well, I mean, that's even-keeled. Really? You can't just say, Tausch, you know what? I spoke way over my skis. I didn't know what the hell I was talking about when I said that. That's what I wanted you to say. But you didn't.
That's not an apology.
That's an admission of, man, I was an idiot.
Well, that's different. Yes.
That's what I'm looking for. Thank you.
I was an idiot.
Hey! Thank you. What is it? It's only 300 days
now
later.
You're going to complain about how long it took.
I'm not complaining. God, don't be like this.
Why don't you just watch the delayed broadcast on the TV in there, would you?
I'm listening.
So my point is that I think Jordan Love, I thought Matt Lafleur hit the nail on the head yesterday, because I don't think he uses his voice the way I am accustomed to quarterbacks using their voice.
And, Jason, it's a hard thing. And when you just listen, because you hear quotes and you see it, and then when you're kind of talking through it, it's a hard thing. When you are because this isn't Jordan Love year 9, year 10 with a bunch of stuff on his resume and some new young players coming in, that there's a different dynamic to the relationship where you're critiquing guys that are on your level or your boys, right? It is a hard thing to go from working with, let's just say, Romeo Doubs and guys that he's played with basically the whole time he's been the starter. And for him to have to say, Romeo, you got to get to 8 yards depth. And you got to chew people out.
Malik Heath,
it is not an easy thing when that's one of your boys for you to do that, but that is what Matt LaFleur is talking about. It isn't just, well, he's one of the guys, you don't want to upset the apple cart, all of those things. That's the next step that it sounds like Matt is saying. It's like, you run that huddle. You demand what Peyton Manning and all the great quarterbacks do. You're very demanding and hard on your teammates, and that doesn't mean you don't love them. It means you want them to be great. You have to push because it means more when Jordan Love says, Malik, you got to come out of that break and you have to be here. It means a lot more when he tells him that than if Matt LaFleur in a meeting is like, all right, Malik, here's what you got. Right. That is what is the hard part of the growth of being a leader, in a locker room when you're still a relatively young starting quarterback.
All right, so here's what I want to get into next. You were there for Aaron Rodgers in year 1 and year 2 as the starter. So I want you to contrast that because I would argue he had an even more difficult thing of it's not a bunch of guys who are his same age and contemporaries. There's some guys that he has to lead that have been in the league for a decade.
But that's the difference of having that 3 years building. That's
right, but so did Jordan Love.
He did, but did
so
he?
Let's delve into that.
Okay.
You spent some time because I there's a few exchanges that I want to get to later in the show after Bryan that I had with Lafleur that I also want you to diagnose. But before that, you spent some time with the team from Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin last night at the Bucs game. Did you tell them that I did not appreciate the slander against Santa's elves and accusing them of being unable to put quality windows and doors together for Pella? Because that bothered me.
I did not. But
Hermie was not pleased.
We did have some good laughs about the Hope show. We had some good laughs about the Home and Hope show. And if you're hoping to have a better energy bill, if you're hoping to have a more comfortable home, if you're hoping to save money and not let those dollars fly out your windows, well, we got Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin here to help you. Happy New Year means a lot of rough days ahead for those who suffer from seasonal affective disorder. Plenty of gray, man. It is freezing outside. Frigid days on the horizon. We all just want to be snugly and warm at home. Well, Pella can make your home as beautiful on the outside as it is comfortable on the inside. Celebrate the new year. 0 interest for up to 3 years at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. But hurry up. You only have until January 31st, so visit PellaWI.com today to learn more. Certain restrictions do apply.
Comparing and contrasting the Aaron Rodgers leadership arc that Tausch experienced firsthand to some of the things that Matt Lafleur said about Jordan Love's leadership arc. Next, it's Wilde and Tausch.
This is Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella today, 855-PELLA-WI, and online at PellaWI.com/radio.
LabCorp Clinical Trials is changing to a new name, Fortrea. While the name may be different, Fortrea combines decades of great experience and professionalism with new opportunities for clinical trial participation. It's more than a mission and more than a new name. Fortrea is dedicated to moving healthcare forward. To learn more about the future of healthcare and upcoming clinical trials, visit us at FortreaClinicalTrials.com. That's FORTREA clinicaltrials.com.
Prize Picks is the best place to get real money sports action. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 1,000 times your cash. Run your game all season long on Prize Picks, America's #1 daily fantasy sports app. And it is playoff time, now or never. Don't miss out on the last few weeks of football action with Prize Picks, the best place to win cash while watching the playoffs. You can now win up to 1,000 times your money on Prize Picks. Prize Picks now offers MasterCard for quick and easy deposits into your account this sports season. Prize Picks, the best way to win real money this football season. Make your picks in less than 60 seconds and turn your sports opinions into real money. Download the app today. Use code WI. You get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Again, download the app today and use code WI to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. Run your game.
From the biggest plays on the court to the comments made in the locker room after, an in-depth recap of every Bucs game in 6 minutes. No more, no less. Bucs in 6 provides game recaps for every game. Hear the high-flying dunks from Giannis.
Puts it on the floor, spins down the lane, and plunges it through.
Or the deep threes from Dame.
Dame time has arrived with 107.
Bucs in 6 on the Bucs Plus Audio Network. Find it now on Bucs.com/plus or on Spotify, Apple, and wherever you get your podcasts.
Your Honda gets you everywhere. When it needs service, you need Zimbrick Honda service. Their customer service is second to none, and you can experience it for yourself at 2 convenient Madison service locations on Fish Hatchery Road and Grand Canyon Drive. From simple maintenance to expert repairs, Honda certified technicians handle it all. Need new tires? For a limited time at Zimbrick Honda, you can buy 3 tires and get the 4th for only $1. Part of the Madison community since 1973. Shop local. Shop Zimbrick Honda.
All day, every day. The Carbless talk and text line is open for you. 844-770-3776. The Carbless Talk and Text Line. This is more.
Join the Madison Money Guy, Christian Finfrock, for Retirement Income Strategies, Saturday and Sunday mornings at 7. Get the information you need as you plan for retirement. That's Retirement Income Strategies, Saturday and Sunday mornings at 7. Investment advisory services offered through Retirement Income Strategies, an SEC-registered investment advisor.
Professional volleyball is coming to Madison this January. Featuring Olympic medalists Lauren Carlini and Annie Drew Schumacher, Love Madison Volleyball is Madison's newest pro team. Get ready to watch some of the world's best volleyball players, from Olympic medalists to NCAA champions and international superstars, with the action kicking off on January 17th at the Wisconsin Fieldhouse. Visit lovb.com for more information and tickets for Love Madison matches. Volleyball is the next major league.
If you're looking for a special piece of jewelry for any occasion, Condon Jewelers is always there for you. Condon Jewelers has the best selection of jewelry you'll ever find and guaranteed to have the lowest prices in the Madison area. Free shipping is always available. Visit condonjeweler.com or call 241-3406 and ask for Jim, the owner, who's at the store every day. Shop locally. Condon Jewelers, the jeweler on the east side, the jeweler on your side.
We're on the Packers.
The Green Bay Packers simply couldn't beat the elite talent in the NFC.
Because we're on Wisconsin sports.
They were good. They were not good enough.
Nobody covers the green and gold like 100.5 ESPN.
I remember the nights when we were young, dumb, and wild and free. When I closed my eyes, I could see you in my sweatshirt. Dancing around that college bar. These days I don't know where you are, but I get to keep these memories forever. Oh,
all right, so this is why the answer that Tausch was demanding from me is a little more complicated.
Nuanced.
Nuanced works too. So I would say this. I think Jordan Love would be a great leader for me, because I don't want to get my ass chewed. I want you to tell me you're disappointed and you need me to do this and this instead of, and I want you to talk to me one-on-one instead of showing me up in front of the entire team. So I think for those types of players, I think that he's probably a really good fit leadership-wise. But I think what Matt Lafleur's point is that sometimes, and some guys need to be chewed out. They need a burr in their saddle. And good leaders, and I've always said this, and I would hope you would agree, just because I think coaches are the same way, and I know you coach a lot of the kids' teams. I think good coaches treat everyone fairly, but they don't treat them all the same. They know which kids need which type of leadership. They know which kids can take a little bit harder coaching than others. So my question for you then, as a teammate of Aaron Rodgers, who clearly was not afraid of being vocal with his leadership, how did you see that evolve, and how did he handle someone like you who'd been in the league since he was in high school?
It's a good question. I think that's why you need to have some of these OTA events that you do. You have to find out who everybody is and kind of get to where they're at. But I would disagree to a certain extent. It can't always be, oh, Jason, come here. I got some milk and cookies. We need to talk about your depth on this. Like, that's just not how the world of the NFL works. You can have gentler conversations from time to time, but this is intense. This is a high-stakes game, and it can't always be, well, what's best for Jason? Like, that's just not how the world works. There's
You're
going to be
oversimplifying what I said.
There's going to be times you're going to get your blank chewed and deal with it. And if you can't, tough luck. This isn't for you. Now, that can't be the overarching thing all the time, but
Do you
there
think
were
Aaron
plenty
Rodgers did that too much?
To certain guys, maybe.
I
but
mean, he ruined Amari Rodgers. We would agree, right?
I wouldn't agree with that. I think how did Amari Rodgers do everywhere else he went?
Right, but when you've already lost all your confidence, it's hard to bounce back from it.
It is hard to bounce back, but if you're going to be a big boy pro, you're going to bounce back. And if you're not...
What Jeff Jagosinski did to Sam Congato.
Okay.
Is that right or wrong?
What did he do to him? What did he do to him?
Well, it's a good thing you're going to be a doctor because you damn sure ain't a running back or whatever it was he said.
I mean, you know how many times I've been told, get ready to go move furniture? Legitimately.
Right, but you handle that stuff well. Did Sam Congado handle that well?
By the way, he is a doctor, and he's killing it. So great.
Well, I hope he's not killing it because he's actually supposed to do the opposite.
Saving it.
As a doctor.
You're annoying. You're annoying. The bottom line
do
on
no
this
harm.
Is this
Hippocratic oath.
Hey, this isn't for everybody. This is hard.
I understand that.
So there's going to be times that you get pushed into some places you don't like. How did that Jack Nicholson movie go? There's some dark places that you need to go. Like you could help me with the actual thing. I got a pretty good Jack Nicholson voice. Jack Nicholson's pretty good. You can't handle the truth.
Sounds nothing.
I think it does a little bit.
You sound like you're doing Tim Allen in Home Improvement when he does the.
This is not for the faint of heart, and there's going to be times you're going to get chewed out. And yes, there's people that are a lot more sensitive. I get all that. The bottom line is, and this is where Jordan needs to take that next step, is figuring out how guys need to be coached and how they learn and how they handle all of this. But that doesn't mean that you have to sit there and, oh, shucks, get them next time. They're in it next time. Hey, Malik, you got to get that depth, or they're going to go get them next time. Well, no. Tucker, you didn't run your depth properly, and that was a pick. I guarantee you one thing, you can chew Tucker Kraft out. Tucker Kraft's not going to cower down and say, oh, Jordan's so mean to me. Like, you just know certain guys are certain guys.
It was Heath that ran the wrong depth. But, yes, your point, okay. I get it. Again, I get it. I'm just saying that right now, he doesn't seem to have that club in his bag. And that's why Lafleur is saying what he's saying.
100% agree with you.
Because he is not. That's my point was, as much as you wanted to make your little milk and cookies voice,
I did
is
want to do that.
Right now, with his leadership style, I'm the kind of guy that it caters to, and it needs to be varied so you can get after guys.
No offense to you.
Oh,
if we had 50, if we had 53 Wildies, we would be getting the first pick every year, and it's not just a physical thing.
Good one.
Well, you just said
right, which is why Lafleur is criticizing
I
him.
agree with you. What are we
So
arguing
you had
about?
to take another shot at me while you were agreeing with me?
It was sitting there right there, yeah.
I'm going to have to get some legal representation.
Jason,
and you know who I'm going to call for being bullied by this big jerk in the Gruber law offices. One call that.
You said I didn't have that club in the bag. I had that club in the bag.
David Gruber. Tausch was bullying me. I'd like to lodge a lawsuit against him. David, can you help me? I know the number to call. 414-276-6666. 414-276-6666. Have you been bullied by your radio co-host? Maybe you've been seriously injured in an accident. Whatever it may be, Gruber Law Offices can help you. Go to the website, gruber-law.com, to find out more. Bryan Bulaga joins us mercifully. Next, it's Wilde and Tausch.
We're on the Packers.
For me, the next year, this upcoming year,
because we're on Wisconsin sports.
It's when I'm judging Jordan Love on a lot of things.
Nobody covers the green and gold like 100.5 ESPN.
Happy New Year and happy new engagement. Hi, it's Jeffrey from Celebrations Entertainment. You have heard me talk about corporate, fundraising, and even casino events, but we are also amazing wedding DJs. Never cheesy and always the perfect fit for the perfect couple. Please let us help you narrate your wedding day love story while playing an amazing soundtrack that will rock your dance floor. Create lifelong memories of your one special day. Do it right and do it with celebrationsentertainment.com. That's celebrationsentertainment.com.
When you or a loved one are faced with an unexpected injury or illness, Stoughton Health's urgent care is there for you. Stoughton Health has 4 convenient urgent care locations for the care you need without the wait. We have urgent care locations in Stoughton, Oregon, McFarland, and Cottage Grove with extended hours to fit your schedule. Stoughton Health accepts over 160 insurances, including Dean Health Plan, Quartz, Humana, and more. Please visit stoughtonhealth.com for more information. Stoughton Health, creating excellence together.
Looking for the most popular answer? What's the worst thing about Wisconsin winters? Gina Della from Pella.
Finding a sitter when snow closes school. It's the time of the year when we just want to be all warm and snuggly at home. And Pella helps make your home as beautiful on the outside as it is comfortable on the inside. With inviting doors to let friends and family in and beautiful, energy-efficient windows to keep the cold out. Celebrate the new year with 0% interest for up to 3 years. Visit PellaWI.com today.
Certain restrictions apply.
Mark Tusher here for Chalmers Jewelers. I've been a big fan of Scott, Garrett, and the whole team at Chalmers Jewelers for years now. I go there, my friends go there, and most importantly, my wife loves it whenever I get her something from Chalmers Jewelers. It's my go-to spot for birthdays, anniversaries, and any special occasion. For quality jewelry and a great experience, choose Chalmers Jewelers, the place to go for that perfect gift. Stop at Chalmers Jewelers in Middleton and Madison.
Chalmers Jewelers in Middleton
and Madison. It's New Year, new deals at Metro Ford of Madison. With 204 new vehicles in stock, Metro Ford is your home for the best selection and the biggest savings of 2025. Enjoy the 2024 Ford Escape with 1.9% APR for 66 months, $15.97 per thousand borrowed. Or get the future of driving with the 2024 Ford Mach-E at 0% APR financing for 72 months. But hurry, these deals end February 3rd. Visit Metro Ford in person or online at metrofordofmadison.com and drive off in the new Ford of your dreams today.
Ho-Chunk Gaming Madison wants you to start the year behind the wheel of a brand new ride in our Road to the Motherlode giveaway. On Friday, January 31st, there are lots of opportunities for you to strike gold. 3 winners will be chosen every half hour from 6 p.m. until 9:30, with each taking home a cash prize between $500 and $2,500. Then at 10 o'clock, one grand prize winner will receive our largest single prize ever, a $50,000 vehicle certificate. And it's only at
Ho-Chunk Gaming Madison.
Coors Light presents To Chill or Not to Chill. When your friend skips your favorite song on the playlist. End the friendship. Or choose chill because that song lives rent-free in your head anyway. And you planned ahead by bringing Coors Light to the party. And the sound of that ice-cold can cracking open was music to your ears already. Coors Light. Choose chill. Celebrate responsibly. 2024 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
Purchase your tickets, grab some friends, and get to the Sylvie on Monday, February 24th for Andy North Trivia Night, presented by Exact Sciences. Enjoy a fun and inspiring evening of trivia, music, food, and refreshments while helping to raise money for UW Carbone Cancer Center. This fun and inspiring event is hosted by Andy North, and in addition to the trivia, the lineup includes a silent auction, celebrity appearances, and prizes. Doors open at 6 p.m. Visit AndyNorthandFriends.com to buy your tickets. Past year's events have sold out quickly, so get your tickets today.
We're on the Packers.
Did we crown Jordan Love as the next Hall of Fame quarterback early?
Because we're on Wisconsin Sports.
That is a fair question to ask.
Nobody covers the green and gold like 100.5 ESPN.
I've got some famous friends you probably never heard of, but back in Rutherford County, our crowd is second to none. You might not know them here in this big city we're in.
You know what that music means. Time to talk to somebody that's going to be a supportive, not bullying me on the program. It's time for Bryan Bulaga. Bryan, good morning, buddy. How are you?
I'm good. How are you guys?
I'm all right. What kind of leadership works best on Bryan Bulaga?
Great question.
Oh, good question.
Thanks. That's what I do.
I didn't mind really any particular style. I mean, I think both ways. I think little fire was always okay. I didn't mind it. If the moment called for it, I think I could handle that just fine. If I need a little wake-up call, I'm totally okay with it. If I deserve it, I'm all for it, right? Like, I'm a big boy. I can handle it. If I'm not doing what I need to do and someone notices that and I need to be called out for it, so be it, right? And the thing is, most of the time, if you're that guy, you should understand that's probably coming and you need to take responsibility for that, right? Like, that's most likely the situation, and your feelings shouldn't be hurt for it. That's just what it is. And then, I always think that the opposite of that is like, maybe being more calm about it, doing it in a setting that isn't, I guess I don't know how you do it, not in a public setting. So maybe like not when you're on on the sideline. But again, I don't know how you do that when you're in a game, like in a game or in a situation where, tensions like that happen, right? Like that's when those things happen is when you're in the heat of the moment and things are, flying past you and stuff happens. Is you get emotional and you want guys to understand what's happening and reactions like that and leadership moments like that and characteristics and styles happen. And I always found it to be, sometimes it was helpful for guys, right? Like some guys react really well to it. Some guys don't have any reaction to it, right? Some guys just kind of goes in one ear out the other, and some guys, shut down. And I never understood the guys that shut down from it. I don't know why you would shut down from it. It's not that they are berating you to minimize you as a player. They wouldn't be coming over care. That's the way I always looked at it, right?
Sure.
Like if one of the offensive linemen or Aaron came over to me and did that to me, I looked at it because they care so much. They wanted to express something to me. If they didn't care, they'd leave me alone, and they would probably end up telling the coach, like, you need to get him out. He's not here
sucks.
today. So yeah, you need to get him out. He's not here today. So let's move on. So like, that's the way I always looked at it. And, but everyone's different. And, that's, that's the eye of the
when
beholder,
you hear,
I guess.
Well, and I do and look, I said this to Tausch. I think it got lost in translation a little bit there, but I do think that players are different now. I just do. I think, we talk about them being on their phones and not playing backgammon. I also think that the way they come up is not the same as your dad coached you as a kid or how you were treated. Because, look, you were a future NFL player even when you were in high school. People knew how talented you were. You had to work to get to where you were going. But I don't know if you were treated as this kind of coddled superstar. Oh my God, he's going to play in the NFL someday. I know Tausch wasn't, but I think there are guys that are coddled from the very beginning, and all they hear is how great they are. And then I do think, and I'm not saying that's right, but I'm saying that's what they're accustomed to. So then when somebody gets after them, they're not prepared for it. Now, on the flip side, I don't know what Jordan's previous coaches were like. I don't know how much of this is just simply his personality. But when the head coach is asked, where does Jordan need to take the next step? And the first thing out of Lafleur's mouth is being more vocal in his leadership. That's either one of two things. Either one, that really is the biggest thing that he's most focused on, or it's something that he's focused on, but he doesn't want to talk about, whether his mechanics were worse this year or his accuracy was worse, and this is something that doesn't lead to discussion about his actual play. One of the two. The bottom line is the coach said this, and now we're having this conversation because he said, I want him to be more vocal as a leader. And that leads to the question of, well, what exactly is his leadership style, and what is it lacking, and how is it working? Because I guarantee you there are guys in that locker room that it works for really well, because I've talked to them about it. And I've also asked Jordan, do you have it in you to do what Aaron sometimes did to teammates, which was chew their asses out? And he said, I don't like to do that, was his answer. This was like a year ago. So that's what I'm trying to understand from the two guys that played in the league is, how does he go about getting to be where he needs to be the right leader for all 52 other guys plus the practice squad guys?
So I'll jump in and then Blue jump on. It's got to be authentic. And Aaron, I think, likes to chew people out. Like, I think he enjoys getting after people. Like, that's how he's wired. And to Blue's point before, I don't have a problem. I remember vividly a few times, and this is me being a veteran, and he's being a young starter, and he got after Cliffy and I a few times, like, what the hell are you guys doing? And I would have no problem going back to him and saying, not during the game because quarterback's a little different, but you could also say, well, maybe get rid of the ball a little bit quicker. There's all kinds of interesting dialogue that you can have when you have that relationship, and Jordan has to figure that part of it out. But it has to be authentic. If all of a sudden he becomes scream guy, look at what the hell happened to Jordan? Did he go on some deal where some leadership convention where he needed to start screaming? He has to be authentic to who he is. It's about how am I going to hold guys accountable, and first off, make sure I'm doing what I need to do. He's a grinder. We just heard Lafleur say that. He's in there working. Everybody knows. There was never a doubt in my mind with Rodgers or Favre. I knew they worked. Mm-hmm. I knew that they knew what they were doing. They were in there on Monday and Tuesday to see his trucks. They're sitting in there going over game plans. They put in the time and the effort. Immediately you get that respect. They're going to hold you accountable. Nobody has a problem with that. What we would have a problem with is if it's like, is this guy wired up? That was always the thing. If somebody's quiet and then they're all chatty, it's like, old boy's wired today. Be authentic in whatever your leadership style is going to be. Be authentic about it.
Yeah. I mean, and that's the thing. Like, and he's going to evolve from where he said that to you in year one as a starter, and as he goes on in his time, right? And there's a chance that Aaron in his first year was not that way. Not originally, maybe a little bit, as Tausch said, because Tausch was with him early on, right? And he evolved and got a little more vocal as he grew in the system, and his talent started to show, and his leadership personality showed. But Jordan's going to have to figure that out, because he is going to have to at some point hold guys accountable, right? And in a way, talking to them at some point is not going to get it done. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're going to have to show at some point in time that you're unhappy with the result, right? You're unhappy with what is being done on the field. Yes, like it's not good enough, right? And you can do that on the practice field and let them know what you're looking for, right? And you can go over that. But when it starts to creep in on Sunday and it starts to happen again and again, the message isn't getting through a certain way, and then you got to go a little bit further, and he needs to find that happy medium and how he wants to do it. And as he goes through his career and he gets into these situations in the playoffs, right? And you start to have this, it's not that it's like disappointment, but you start to have these types of games and things go, things don't go your way, and you have these losses, and kind of this callous builds of like, I don't know, it's frustration. These things build up, right? And you become a different type of leader as these things happen, and you start to see different things, and you just evolve as a player and a leader. And that's what he's going to have to figure out and become as he grows as a player in this league. So do you guys? He's got to be authentic.
All right, so do you guys then believe, and then we can move on because we got way more we want to get to with you, Bryan. So both of you, do you both believe them? Because I think Tausch's point is extremely important. Don't be someone you're not, because guys are going to see through that immediately, right? And to your point, if he shows up for OTAs and he's screaming and yelling like a madman, guys are going to be like, what the hell happened to our quarterback? So when we're talking about evolution as a leader, then how do you do that and still stay true to yourself? Because if we're being honest, true to himself is understated, level-headed, calm, don't scream and yell at guys. He had every right on the interception to Bond to throw his arms up in the air like Aaron would have and said, good Lord, Malik, you got to run that at 20, not at 15. Now I threw a pick. But he didn't, because that's not how he is. So it helped me understand, having not played in the league, Tausch, you first, How does he evolve then while still staying true to himself?
I think you have to hold guys accountable. And there's going to be – nobody is going to say if Jordan Love doesn't say something, that's a negative on him. It wasn't Jordan's fault in that regard. Now how you want to approach that, throwing your arms up in the air and yelling at your wideout, I don't know if that does it, but having some fire, because that was the defense luckily held and held them off.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't do that. You're being asked to get the job done at a high level, and if you can't, somebody else has to. So the idea of, I don't want to hurt Malik's feelings, or I don't want to hurt so-and-so's feelings because they're not getting the job done, you're hurting 52 other guys in their chase of a championship because you're not getting the job done. You as a leader you're being delinquent on your responsibilities by not asking and demanding that guys do that.
So, Brian, are we, and Spenny in the chat on the ESPN Madison YouTube channel had the same thought I did. Justin Herbert, not the most vocal, seemingly from the outside leader guy, young player dealing with a veteran right tackle. Did you see him evolve being around him, and when you watch him play now, is he maybe a guide for how Jordan Love can develop as a leader?
Yeah, I mean, his first year, he didn't say much, right? His rookie year, he didn't say much. At the same time, he didn't have anyone to learn from, right? He got thrown in week 2 and took it from there. Season 2, a little bit more, not really like getting after guys, right? He was still learning and kind of coming into his own as a player and who he was. But I watch him now on the sideline and kind of watch him on the field, and it seems like he is way more vocal than what he was his first 2 years, right? You see him like signaling at guys on the field. You see him verbalizing stuff on the sideline. Like, he just seems way more vocal and in control of that team, right? And in control of the sideline and what happens there, right? And that to me is where Jordan Love will get. And what kind of like piggybacking off what Tausch said, this is if the quarterback, and this is how I always felt too with Aaron, like if someone's going to hold someone accountable, it has to be the quarterback, because if he doesn't do it, who's going to take the next guy seriously, right? Like, he's the top dog on the team. He is. And you can look at it because he's the best player or he's the top money earner, whatever you want to look at it as, right? The quarterback is the top dog. So if the top dog doesn't hold the guys accountable, when someone does try to hold, that guy accountable or approach him, he's going to look at that guy and go, who are you to tell me, right? So, like, it has to start somewhere. And Aaron, he had no problem doing it, right? So it always created I always looked at it in the locker room. There was like a hierarchy, right? Like, you looked at it from kind of like a pyramid structure, like top dog, and it kind of went down, and it was from, veteran status and down, or however you wanted to look at it. And there was a precedent set on who got to, be that type of guy that could approach guys and do things. And it's not saying that young guys can't step up and be, leaders, but like, it's just a certain thing of how you hold guys to certain standards. And that's something that Lafleur was so used to with Aaron, right? And he sees so much potential in Jordan, and just sees, I would imagine that that's a part of his game that he can evolve and he can become stronger in. And that's kind of probably why that's what he said in that presser, because that's a part of his game that he can evolve and hold guys to a higher standard. And we watched that game against Philly. That's pretty much what we're saying, right? Like, that team needs to be held to a higher standard and more accountability from what we just watched. And you could say it's on the coach, right? Like, the coach needs to hold him to a higher standard. I can assure you that the coach is not saying, hey, guys, that was a good try out there. I can assure you he's not. Like, he didn't say, hey, guys, that was a good effort. So, like, So where does it come next from? It has to come from the locker room and the guys in there, right? Like the next step is the leaders in that locker room then have to start holding guys accountable from top down in there. And it starts with the quarterback. He's got to be the guy that does it. He's got it in him, but his style is just different, and he has to find his way in how he does it.
Yeah, it can't just be Josh Jacobs and Xavier McKinney. It just can't be. All right, we'll shift gears from leadership talk to football talk. Hope Bryan doesn't have any plans to go out to the farm because we're just going to keep him for hours and hours and hours.
Chilly down there too. Are you getting a little snow down there?
A little frost on your oranges there?
It was a little chilly this morning. It's still a little chilly. Yeah, it's windy.
Yeah, it's 0 here.
Cold.
Yeah.
Oof. No, it's not that cold.
More with Bryan Bulaga next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
The Notre Dame Fighting Irish, the Ohio State Buckeyes.
I just want to win a national championship.
The College Football Playoff National Championship, presented by AT&T. Coverage begins Monday at 6:30 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ESPN.
Hey, it's Jesse Nelson to tell you about Madison Weight Loss, the program that I experienced over a 60-day interval from August to October of last year, and I was able to drop 40 pounds of unnecessary, unwanted fat simply by changing my diet. It's 2025, new year, new you, right? Well, here we are, 15 days in, and you might be realizing whatever weight loss program you were trying just isn't getting it done. You fall victim to some of the sweets. You fall victim to some of the bad habits that you were trying to break, and you're starting to realize you need to mix it up to try and lose the weight and achieve those goals you set for yourself. Well, I've been there, and what I found to be the best possible way to go about weight loss and doing it the natural, healthy way was contacting the team at Madison Weight Loss. They walk you through the entire program. They have expert coaches and guiders of how you go about this entire program. You log everything in an app. They keep track of how you're doing. They encourage you along the way. They support the great decisions that you're making, and sure enough, you're able to find the results and more that you're looking for. Contact the team. Schedule a free consultation in person or virtual at MadisonWeightLoss.com. That's MadisonWeightLoss.com. Results may vary.
Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin present your Badger Minute. Here's Pablo Iglesias.
This Badger Minute brought to you by your Badgerland Chevy dealers, proud supporters of Badger Athletics. Go to BadgerlandChevy.com. Love Madison Volleyball makes its home debut Friday night at the UW Fieldhouse, a familiar spot for Sarah Franklin. The former Badger turned pro talked about making the jump to the next level, a day-by-day process for the 2023 National Player of the Year.
When you're going into a whole new level of volleyball, you're not going to be fantastic at the first go of it. You know, it's a new ball, it's new girls, so I think being able to kind of slow it down for myself and just being able to give myself some grace, but then still being able to be loose and going and attacking the ball and attacking the serve. So definitely taking it a little bit slower and not getting too ahead of myself.
Pella can make your home as beautiful on the outside as it is comfortable on the inside. Celebrate the new year with 0% interest for up to 3 years at PellaWI.com.
I love playing sports, especially for my school. And that's because school sports are special. It's where it's safe to fail. It's where we're taught resilience, where our fear becomes confidence. It's where we learn to get back up after every fall. School sports are where 7.8 million students go from I can't to I can.
This message presented by the WIAA and the Wisconsin Athletic Directors Association.
Mark Tauscher here for Kohler Services. If you've been putting off your bath or shower remodel, now is the time to turn to Kohler Services. Family owned for 150 years, Kohler is your Wisconsin manufacturer providing care for life. And this month only, get $1,000 off your Lugstone shower remodel and no payment financing until 2026. Visit KohlerServicesWI.com to request your free quote with fast professional installation always included. That's KohlerServicesWI.com.
Madison's home of the Milwaukee Bucks.
Lillard lobs up top to Giannis. Oh, what a play!
Wisconsin Badgers volleyball.
Underneath it, bump set, left side, powers it down. What a rally! And Wisconsin comes out on top.
And now, the Milwaukee Brewers.
Hit to left and deep. Get up! Get up! Get out of here! Gone! Wow!
This is Madison's new home of the Milwaukee Brewers. 100.5 ESPN.
This message is sponsored by WisCaregiver.com. Now is the time to start a meaningful career as a caregiver. Make a real difference in people's lives. WisCaregiver.com gives you 2 great options for free. Train for the in-demand caregiver workforce as a CDCP, Certified Direct Care Professional, or become a CNA, Certified Nurse Aide. All training is free. Plus, you can earn a $500 bonus. Learn more. Visit wiscaregiver.com.
Wilde and Tausch on 100.5 ESPN is brought to you by Everlight Solar. Save money, save the planet. Everlight Solar.
I've got some famous friends you probably never heard of, but back in Rutherford County, our crowd is second to none.
More with Bryan Bulaga. Tausch, I feel like I dominated with questions there.
Yeah, you're really fascinated, and I think this is going to be one of the big storylines this offseason because I think it's part of the evolution of being a quarterback in this league. And obviously when your head coach puts it out there like that, that is going to be a talking point in what's going to be a long offseason. So I thought it was interesting. I think Blue's perspective on it's interesting too, knowing kind of how that whole process goes. But, Brian, I sent you a text yesterday. I got a couple of different people coming at it and saying, who was the best offensive lineman? You watched every game a couple times. Who would you say had the best season up front for this Packers offensive line?
Yeah, that's it's a tough question because I think if you look at it from a whole, you point out two guys. I mean, Zach Tom and Elton were probably the two top performers. The only thing, the thing that makes it tough for me is that I felt like the last few weeks, Zach Tom struggled for whatever reason, just was doing things that were uncharacteristic of his play style that you saw him doing.
What was that, Blue? Is it? He was laid off the ball on the one. What was some of the things you noticed?
Just from I kind of saw it from what was the game before Minnesota?
The Saints. And by the way, I talked to Zach Tom at the locker room cleanout, and you popped into my head because he said the pec was a problem all year. He said that's not an excuse, but that he and I wondered, you said that from the very jump when we found out he had a torn pec in the offseason, and he said that was a problem all year long for him.
Yeah. I mean, and as the season goes on, it just kind of lingers and it becomes worse and worse. Because how I felt towards the end of the season, and again, I don't make excuses for guys, and he seemed like a guy that doesn't make excuses for himself, which I really appreciate. It seemed like at the top of his rush against the defensive end, he would lose at that last second, which I mean by he'd get soft on his right knee or his right leg, he would drop it and he would lose the rusher and give up a weak edge. Now, it makes total sense if he's got, because it's his right pec, correct? If I'm not mistaken.
Yep, you are correct.
Yeah, so he's got a bad wing on the right side, which is how you would strain with your right knee and right arm to hold up rushers on the top of the rush, which what I normally saw, which would create a problem. And then you would see something like an overset against Philly because he is so concerned about losing guys at the top of the rush. Oversets, guy jumps right inside, and he's nowhere, and he can't recover, right? Because he's so concerned about being able to strain against guys on when they rush high up the field and then turn it into a bull rush. So it doesn't totally surprise me that he was struggling with that, and why you kind of saw late in the season that was impacting him. So I hope that has time now to heal and he can resolve that, and he truly lets that thing settle down throughout an offseason and doesn't jump right back into training and, do more damage to it than what it needs to be. I thought Elton, I think we all saw what happened once Elton was removed from the equation.
I was going to say, don't you think he should be going in saying, hey, I need a little more bread, man. You guys can't even function without me in there at left guard.
Yeah, I don't understand what happened once I understand what happened. Like, I understand what happened. I
You don't
watched
comprehend what happened.
Yeah, I don't comprehend, and because like I get it. You go into a game and you have a game planned, right? You have your best left guard. They got really good D tackles. You're thinking, we have our stud left guard. We can leave him one-on-one. We don't have to worry about sliding to him. That means we could change protections. We can chip on the left side. We could slide our center over here. Like, we're good, right? Like we feel good about that. Left guard leaves the game. And now you're trying to completely change up a game plan. I'm not saying it can't be done, but now you're trying to flip protections and flip game plans, and it's a tough thing to do. So in the meantime, while you're doing that, you're leaving a very young left guard on an island against really good defensive tackles, and it's difficult, and it's tough, and it caused major issues. But back to the original question of who was the best lineman. I mean, Zach Tom was such a steady performer throughout the entire, besides like the last, I feel like 3 weeks. I mean, but the Saints game, he played good. So like, I don't even like, and Elton played solid too. Elton had a couple rough games throughout the season, like a couple like up and down games. So like, it's so even between the two that, like, you look at how they performed, like, I mean...
You want to just call it a tie, those two?
Yeah, I would just say, like, it's a tie.
Tie goes to Sean Runyon.
Yeah,
Sean Ryan.
I do think, Blue, it's such an interesting point, and we do forget about that guys have injuries. Tucker Kraft, Peck as well. And the fact, I think, Tom, how he played for most of the season, fighting through that, tells you a lot. And for everybody that is down on Zach Tom, he's going to get a fat contract this offseason. He deserves it, and I want him as our right tackle for the foreseeable future. Unless Domofsky gets his win, they put him in, and he's a Hall of Fame center. But that should be, for all of the question marks that people have about this team, he should be one of the last things people are concerned about, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, listen, for what people are saying, like, I understand he gave up a sack against Van Ginkel in Minnesota, right? I understand he got beat against Philly in that rush. Like, I get it, right? Like, all right, like I watched it. I understand. There's factors that go into it. Yes, you have to be accountable for it. You gave up the sack. I get it. And he is more than accountable for it. If Jason explains it right and you kind of hear the guy talk and you know the type of guy he is. So he's more than accountable for it. But if you just look at like 2 or 3 or 4 individual plays from a body of work from throughout a season, you're doing yourself a complete injustice of the player, right? Like, that is just completely doing the body of work. Like, you can't
scouts,
do that.
And scouts don't do that. This is more fan-based, but it is just something I think people get frustrated, especially when it's playoff games and at the end of the season, that he struggled a little bit. But we do have to factor in a lot of things, too.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, for the fan base, it's their last memory of how he played, and then it's the off season, right? Like, it's like, this is how he played last game off season. Like, I get it. But at the same time, look at how everyone played, right? Like, you got to look at the whole picture of how everyone played. And for me, yes, Elton and Zach Tom are your definites on that group. I thought Sean Ryan, for kind of how he was, I don't want to say like
portrayed,
mistreated. Yeah, I don't think he was mistreated, but how he was pushed, right? Like how he was put in, rotated, moved here and there.
Slighted. I think you could say he was.
Shape to play the whole game.
I think you could say he was slighted in the beginning of the season.
Yeah, he was challenged. We'll just put it that way. He was challenged early on. And he responded. And I thought he played pretty good football for most of the season. And, like, hats off to that guy. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he earned every snap he got, and he earned his play time. And, like, going into next year, the guy should have tons of confidence. going into training camp, because like he earned, his job, and that was very encouraging to see, because we're going into next offseason with this group, and obviously Jordan Morgan's going to return. We don't know about the center position. If the center position does leave, I have a pretty good
Jenkins.
I have a pretty good feeling. Yeah, Elton's going to kick in, so that means Jordan Morgan will probably be inserted at left guard, which means Sean Ryan will stay at right guard.
And they're going to draft somebody.
Yes, and now we're back at the question, where we ended in Philly, was we need depth behind these guys, because we saw what happens when one leaves. So
good.
That's
they could have used Jordan
at.
Morgan. They definitely could have used Jordan Morgan.
Yes, they could have.
As opposed to Travis Glover and the Telly monster, Kadeem Telford.
Blue, do you want Elton Jenkins? I know Elton, I think he likes playing center. He's a really good guard, and we saw what happened. Now, I'm not going to ask you what's more important. Center's a very important position.
Right tackle.
Do you want to see the Packers put Elton Jenkins in there, or do you like keeping him at left guard?
Well, I mean, I like keeping him at left guard. I mean, I really do. I mean, I'd prefer him stay at left guard, because I think what he offers at left guard, and having him being able to block 3 techs and high-end 3 techs or 4 techs based on the defensive front, one-on-one is very valuable, and being able to do that rep after rep. I mean, as Lafleur told Jason, most of these defenses are in nickel now, so it's 4 down. So blocking 3 techs majority of the time is of the premium. And so being able to have a guard that can match up one-on-one with 3 techs by himself is key, right? And I'm not saying that the center position is not valuable, because it is very valuable. The communication and being able to do very important things in the run game is huge. But you just have to understand, like, if you kick Elton in to center, Elton's going to be really good in the run game, but then you're taking something away from the pass protection, right? Yes, he's going to get everyone on the same page, and yes, he will be able to block a shade one-on-one and do all that. Like, yes, he'll be able to do that. But you are taking something away from having him being able to go one-on-one with guys, and being able to send a center the opposite way, and being able to just send a tight end a chip and help a tackle and help multiple places at once, because you got a left guard that can, block one-on-one, and you got a right tackle that can, so like it's one of those things. And how does the coaching staff and how does the GM, how do they decipher that, and how do they make that decision? And it'll be interesting to see what they do and how they go about it with Myers. I mean, for one, with Myers, I thought he played, from what I've been how I've been watching him play over the last few years. Like, I thought he's played his best football, right? And I think that's great for him going into free agency. I hope his leg's okay, because that made me sick to my stomach seeing that happen.
Sounds like he's going to be all right, Blue.
Hairline fracture of the tibia or the fibula. They're not sure which when he talked after the game. So, but he avoided the ACL. He avoided the ankle. Hey, do you have? I know you got a lot on your plate. Can you stick around? Because Tausch said something interesting yesterday.
I have one question I have to ask you too. If Blue can, if he's got to go, he's got to go.
No, I'm good. I can hang around.
That's what I'm talking about. You got to strong arm Blue a little bit. Yeah, Blue, we need you for 5.
You know what that was?
We need you for 20 more.
That was leadership. That was leadership by us.
Blue, we need you.
Tausch, tell us about Coors Light before we get more time with Blue.
Yeah, because now we get another segment with Blue. I'm going to crack a Coors Light right now. I know it's 10:15. Who cares? Let's have one. And we'll chill. Brewed with that 3-step cold process, cold lager, cold filtered, and it is cold packaged, so it's made to chill and make sure those mountains, well, it's cold enough here. Just leave it outside. Your mountains will be blue. That's when you know Coors Light is chilled to perfection. Celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
More with Bryan Bulaga at the top of the 10 o'clock hour next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
Don't go anywhere. Another hour of Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, is coming up next on ESPN Wisconsin, the ESPN app, and Wisconsin On Demand.
Mark Tosher here for Pizza Hut, where the number 7 just got luckier. You already know how much I love Pizza Hut, but have you heard about Pizza Hut's $7 Deal Lovers menu? Enjoy all your Pizza Hut favorites like pizza, boneless wings, melts, cheese sticks, and more for just $7 each when you buy 2 or more. With the $7 Deal Lovers menu, you don't have to choose between great taste and great value. You can have them both. Order on the app or online at pizzahut.com. The $7 Deal Lovers menu, only at Pizza Hut. No one out-pizzas the Hut.
Hi, this is former Badger Pro Football Hall of Famer Joe Thomas. You're listening to 100.5 ESPN WTLX Monona, Madison. Good Karma Brands radio station.
Broadcasting live from the Everlight Solar Studio, this is your Metro Kia of Madison Sports Center.
Good morning, Madison and streamers everywhere. I'm Jesse Nelson. Sports Center brought to you by Goodman's Jewelers, the diamond store of Madison for generations. Check them out, 220 State Street and online at goodmansjewelers.com. The postseason debrief continues after the Packers fall to the Eagles in the wild card round of the playoffs on Sunday. Yesterday up in Green Bay, head coach Matt Lafleur meeting with the media calls on quarterback Jordan Love to showcase more vocal leadership next season.
I think the next step is just to continue to evolve as a vocal leader. I think that just kind of comes with the position naturally, and I think he's taken steps to get there, but I think he can really demand a lot.
More examination of what the head coach had to say yesterday in his season-ending press conference coming up on Wilde and Tausch, including more Bryan Bulaga coming up right now here on 100.5 ESPN and the ESPN Madison YouTube channel. Basketball winners from around the state last night. 24th-ranked Wisconsin 70-68 over Ohio State at the Kohl Center. Greg Gard's 200th career victory, third fastest head coach to 200 wins in Wisconsin men's basketball history. 7th-ranked Marquette 85-83 in overtime on the road over DePaul. And the Bucks 130-115 winners over the Kings. They host the Magic tonight.
Metro Kia of Madison, Madison's trusted Kia dealer. Stop into Metro Kia on the east side of Madison or metrokiaofmadison.com.
The 10 o'clock hour of Wilde and Tausch begins now. More with Bryan Bulaga. All right, Tausch has got one, I got one, and then we got to get you out of here, Blue. Tausch, what do you got for Bryan?
We had this discussion. Jason asked Lafleur about it, and the fact that when you were there and Matt first got there, so much of what you guys did was marrying up that hard outside zone with the boots and all the play action, and it was guys running wide open, everybody raving about what it looked like. We didn't see that this year for a vast majority of it. We only saw 3 play action pass mixes this last game. It was non-existent for the most part in the second half of the season. The passing game limped home. What do you tell Matt Lafleur? Because I am on board. You want Josh Jacobs to feel comfortable with the running scheme you're doing. The duo scheme, the out of the gun, I'm fine with it. How do you get back to having that success out of it with a different player and a different skill set? If you're advising Matt, what do you tell him to get the play-action pass game going with Josh Jacobs as your primary tailback?
Yeah, I mean, if it's me talking to him and being as blunt and honest with him, I think it's you did what you needed to do with Jacobs in year one to get him acclimated, to make sure he's comfortable, to really get him the year he needed to get going in Green Bay, right? And get him really, the focal point of this offense, right? Like that's what he was this year, and make sure he understands his part in this thing, right? And now that, and Jacobs, this guy is an absolute stud, but now that he is completely all in on this thing and he's bought in and he understands this system, I think it's time this year that you can expand his knowledge of this thing and introduce and give him a little bit more of the wide zone. It may not be his favorite thing. It may not be what he loves to do, and that's okay, right? I'm not saying you need to give him 8 or 9 of those a game, right? And feed him the ball that way. But if you're able to show 2 or 3 of those a game and put that on tape, then you are able to at least run that play action and able to show that action, so defenses have to respect it. And when you start doing that, that's when you're able to start running that RPO stuff that is Love's able to pull the ball, get it out really quick to wide open receivers over the middle, stay under center, where then linebackers are flying downhill. And that's when you start to see the stuff over the middle wide open, because linebackers have to, respect that and come downhill, right? Like they have to. And we've said it a bunch. When you're in the gun or in the pistol and you're doing play action duo, linebackers are naturally going to be patient and they're going to stay there. They are not going to attack downhill. So the play action over the middle is just not going to be as available, right? Like the stuff over the middle is just not going to be there naturally. And you're going to have to hold up in protection longer. Like that's the trade-off with duo and running the play action with duo. So I think that you can expand Jacobs a little bit more with, giving him more outside zone touches, but not taking away with what he does best with the inside zone and duo. And it's not like a complete change of philosophy for him, right? He ran it in training camp. They introduced it. He understands what it is, right? And he it's in the system, it's in the game plan. He's just really good at what they did this year, and that's great. We all understand it and we respect it. I respect the hell out of it. It looks great. It's really good. But that doesn't mean you can't, take this a step further now, introduce that back in so that you can expand on the play action game and even make this thing. Because the last thing defenses now are going to expect is if Jacob starts running wide outside zone. Because the last thing defenses are going to want is if they're packing the middle of the defense and this dude starts stretching the ball to the C gap and they're flying outside and he puts his foot in the ground and goes north and south and linebackers are sitting there flat-footed and he's trucking them. That's the last thing they're going to want. Or he starts cutting it back across the entire defense and there's the backside safety there sitting there waiting for him and gets run over. So, there's certain things with the outside zone that Jacobs can be really dangerous with. Again, it doesn't need to be 8 to 10 times a game, just a couple so that defenses see it.
All right, Brian, last thing for me, and then we'll let you go. And Tausch, I asked him, or I mentioned it to him yesterday, and I don't think he was a big fan of this. I'm curious if you'll be. Matt Lafleur didn't do exit interviews. He basically told the guys, hey, the door's open, come by if you want, and I'm going to reach out to you after you guys all get home, and he's going to meet with everyone, I guess, virtually after they get home and kind of decompress from the season. That, again, this was year 29 for me. That's never happened. I don't remember a coach ever saying it was always the exit interviews, right? And so I'm wondering, as a former player yourself, because, Tausch, I don't want to misquote you, but you wanted to have that meeting.
100%.
And that did not happen here. I'm wondering what your reaction is to that.
That's a little surprising.
Because he had him with you, right?
Yeah. That was my 1 year with him. We had him, and I found it really productive. I thought it was great. It's your, when you have those exit interviews, it is your last, before the offseason. It's your time to kind of speak your piece before you go into the offseason. And it's time to kind of if you got anything that's built up, you let it go and you speak to your coaches. And if they have anything they want to tell you, they let you know. And you kind of clear the air. If there's good or bad or indifferent, you kind of let each other know. And if there's things to improve on or things that coaches want to hear, I always think of it face-to-face is better than over a phone call or over a Zoom call. That's the way I always looked at it, right? And, I mean, listen, the exit interviews, it always kind of stunk to sit around and wait for your time because the meetings always went late and they always went over. I get it. But, there's something to be said about meeting with your coaches at the end of the year and kind of going through what just happened, right? Good or bad, right? It's always good to go over those things. And, and I would imagine if I had to take a guess, the quarterback met McKinney probably, like, there's certain guys that definitely probably went up there and met with, the head coach and things like that, if I had to take a guess. But I'm not
Blue,
sure.
wasn't it just nice because, and I told Jason this, you get all kinds of time with Campy and from back in the O-line and even the offensive coordinator. You have all this time. There's not a ton of time where you get more than a couple minutes with the head coach all season. You maybe in stretch line or unless you really have to go up to his office. It's the best time to kind of get their opinion of you. You feedback what you think. They're very open and reflective. Again, it's not the biggest deal, but it doesn't make any sense. It's a great kind of a purifier. You know what you should work on in the offseason. Everybody's communication is better, and you just make it doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah. I mean, when I was a rookie and young, like, I was scared to death to go up to McCarthy's office for these, right? Like, I was scared to death to do them with Mike. Like, I was terrified. And then by, like, year 4, I, look forward to them. Like, I like doing them because I got to, talk to him and see – I enjoyed talking to Mike, right? Like, I thought he was great to talk to and all that. But, you got to see how he was feeling about stuff and how, the season went and what his expectations were and all that. And, you don't look forward to exit interviews because that means you probably just lost in the playoffs or, whatever it would be. But it was something that you got to have that communication, as Tausch said, with the head coach that you don't get. Like, you don't get that communication. Like, the quarterback gets that communication, or the Charles Woodsons of the world get that communication. Like, the third-year offensive lineman does not get that communication with the head coach. Like, it just does not happen that way. So I always thought it was good to do. Again, it's not the end of the world, but it's just definitely a change that I am not familiar with. It's new to me.
Well, this was not your exit interview for today. We're just going to keep dragging you back here, whether you want to or not. Thanks, buddy. We appreciate you.
All right, guys. Take it easy.
That is Bryan Bulaga, Iowa. Always appreciate his insights. And Tausch always appreciates American Family Insurance.
And it's getting winding down. It is the season of giving. Badger, Packer fans, Bucks. It doesn't matter. This year you can double your impact for the thousands of children receiving top-notch care at the American Family Children's Hospital. Sarah and myself, we have teamed up with American Family Insurance to help raise money for the American Family Children's Hospital virtual toy drive. Proceeds go towards therapeutic play supplies for pediatric patients. And the American Family Insurance, they have matched donations all the way up to $50,000. And we have, what is today, Jason, the 15th? We got 2 more days to get to 50, and we are razors close. We're going to get there. Go to AmFam4, the number, right? How do I say that? It's the number 4. So don't put AmFam, F-O-U-R. It's AmFam4kids.org, AmFam4kids.org.
Or F-O-R either. Don't put that either. Just the number 4.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
You're the best. More Wilde and Tausch straight ahead. Stick around.
This is Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella today, 855-PELLA-WI, and online at PellaWI.com/radio.
How much does it cost to talk to Gruber offices after a serious accident? It's free. Yes, free, as in it won't cost you anything to speak with us. There's never a fee until we win your case. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Ben Brust here to tell you about Zimbrick European. They're Mercedes, Audi, Porsche, and certified pre-owned. But the best part is I've been working with them since 2018, and the evolution has been a 2-door, a 4-door, and now it's time for an SUV. My life has changed, and it's changed with Zimbrick European. Being a dad has made it really important to have the comfort and the safety that the SUV will bring me. Again, Zimbrick European off the belt line at Rimrock Road. Of course, I found the sexiest car on the lot. Check them out.
Coors Light presents To Chill or Not to Chill. When your friend skips your favorite song on the playlist. End the friendship. Or choose chill because that song lives rent-free in your head anyway. And you planned ahead by bringing Coors Light to the party. And the sound of that ice-cold can cracking open was music to your ears already. Coors Light. Choose chill. Celebrate responsibly. 2024 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
Good Karma Brands is proud to be an equal opportunity employer. Our policy is to provide equal opportunity employment, development, and advancement to all current and potential teammates. If you are an organization that maintains a job bank, provides employment information, or gives job referrals, you may request to be placed on the station's mailing list for future career opportunities. To learn more about careers at Good Karma Brands, please email careers@goodkarmabrands.com.
Mark Tauscher here to tell you a little bit more about Everlight Solar. We all know that electricity costs are on the rise. That's why you need to talk to my friends over at Everlight Solar. Their local team here in Madison is here to keep it simple. From your no-cost consultation to solar panel installation, the team at Everlight Solar will be with you every step of the way. Not only will they help you save money, but by switching to solar, you're also helping save the planet. Everlight Solar, a proud partner of Wisconsin Athletics. Check them out at everlightsolar.com.
Hold your friends close and your rivals closer on Jim, Matt, and Molly.
Molly, thank you so much for hopping on. You obviously have carte blanche to join the show whenever. Now, Evan Cohen did think that you might actually be on the show more during your maternity leave than Matt Hamilton will be on during the same time.
Okay. I'll take the challenge.
Molly, we want you to be better and rested and ready to get back, and I don't want to lose this.
Jim, Matt, and Molly, presented by Coors Light. Weekdays 4 to 6 on 100.5 ESPN.
One word captures why so many businesses choose to do business with James Imaging Systems. Local. Local business technology. Local support. Local accountability. Listen to James' client Daniel Bertelson, RE/MAX Preferred CEO.
James Imaging is one of the vendors that we use to move all of our documents and set up networks and utilize their equipment for scanning and storage purposes.
Local support works for James' client Josh Gabel, Service Manager with Kirsch Appliance.
Yeah, things happen. They can come out and fix it and leave us to what we're needing to do.
Jennifer Wilger, Purchasing Manager with Baker Manufacturing, likes the local accountability from the James Imaging Systems people.
They're an absolutely wonderful partner for us. They go above and beyond.
Local business technology, local support, local accountability. Get it all from James Imaging Systems, your local business technology partner. Call 608-221-3457 or visit jamesimaging.com.
The more you listen to your kids, the closer you'll be. Find resources to help you support your kids and their emotional well-being at sounditouttogether.org. That's sounditouttogether.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and Pivotal.
On the air, on demand, on social, on Wisconsin Sports. Serving Wisconsin sports fans. This is 100.5 ESPN.
We need to get to Homer, so let me just ask this follow-up about the lack of exit meetings. Tausch, what would the reasoning be if you had to guess?
Timing. You want guys to get up because blues, right? I mean, early in my career, you had to sit around all day. And matter of fact, sometimes we'd have to go in on Tuesday if you were in the bottom of the roster or you're a young player. And I think maybe it's just a long season. Hey, get out of Dodge. We'll call you. And now with obviously there's better video technology.
Right.
So it's – I mean, is it a monster deal? No, it's not. And I think you want to be mindful of guys' time. And everybody, once the season's over, everybody wants to get the heck out. Everybody wants to go and just recharge. So that would be my guess on why they would do that.
Next time I get to talk to Matt Lafleur again, I'd be curious. I did not follow up on that as much as I like to follow up on things. Dave and Aaron with a quick text from the carbless talk and text line. This is more. That's fine if Love isn't a yell-in-your-face kind of guy, but we need leaders to hold people accountable. Hire a sideline coach to chew guys' asses.
Well, there's a get-back guy. Get back off the
sideline. So
sideline.
an ass-chew guy.
That's a fun gig.
Would you apply for that job?
That would be,
I know you always think I'm trying to get you other jobs.
That would be a fun.
Does that interest you?
If you could just sit there and chew guys out and say, what the heck are you doing on this? I think that would get old real quick. And by the way, you'd probably get punched. If you're just some random dude coming in and heckling people, I don't think that's not what Matt Lafleur is looking for. I don't know.
I will not ask him if he's considered that as an option. All right, we need to get to Homer. Want to remind you, if you've been watching the news, you've seen the devastation.
It would be interesting to find out who would be their blank-chewing guy, though. Dougie Collins, Ruge, like who is their guy on the sideline that would be get in? Because Big Dom up in Philly, they said when he got suspended, Philly's season went in the tank last year. Big Dom.
Yeah, and then Big Dom's the guy
Dom.
who tracked down that guy that was screaming obscenities at that Packers fan and got the guy banned from the stadium, and apparently reports are that he got fired from his job as well. So good on you, Big Dom, for tracking that guy down. All right, again, I know you've seen on the news the devastation in California. It seems so far away, but those are real people dealing with real challenges because of these fires, not just movie stars and famous people. There are real people that are dealing with this devastation. And if you're able to help, please support the people affected by the California wildfires. All you got to do is go to redcross.org/ESPN to donate. That's redcross.org/ESPN. Help the Red Cross respond and help people recover. That's redcross.org/ESPN. Uncle Homer joins us next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
This is Wilde and Tausch, driven by Zimbrick Chevrolet in Sun Prairie on 100.5 ESPN. See their full inventory at ZimbrickChevrolet.com.
Mark Tauscher here for Pizza Hut, which you know I've loved going way back to when I was a kid participating in the legendary Book It program. And now here's a question. Do you get pizza or do you like wings? Well, at Pizza Hut, there's only one right answer. Both. Introducing Pizza Hut's original stuffed crust and wings bundle. Large one-topping stuffed crust pizza and 16 boneless wings with 2 dips, and it's all for just $19.99. Pizza Hut is home to the original stuffed crust pizza, topped and stuffed with over a half pound of delicious, melty cheese, and Pizza Hut's boneless wings. They are kitchen-fried and not oven-dried, sauced and tossed to perfection, and delivered hot directly to you. Pizza and wings or wings and pizza? The best deals have both. The unbeatable value of the stuffed crust and wings bundle is perfect to feed the whole crew on game day, family night, or any gathering. Order on the app or order online at pizzahut.com. The stuffed crust and wings bundle, only at Pizza Hut. No one out-pizzas the Hut.
This is our crew.
Fly ball right field. Hit a ton. We're tied.
Milwaukee Brewers baseball is coming to ESPN Madison.
The 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. He struck him out.
Every pitch, every dramatic moment, every
fly ball left field. Back. Still back. It is up and gone.
Madison's new home of the Milwaukee Brewers. 100.5 ESPN.
Ben Brust here to tell you about the Princeton Club. I joined the Princeton Club because I was looking for a place I could invest in my health, and the environment and the community I have felt has made it so easy for me to incorporate it into my everyday life. It doesn't matter where you're at in your fitness journey because they have something to offer everyone. It also goes beyond fitness. From the moment you walk in the club to the moment you walk out, there is a togetherness felt throughout the members and staff that keeps you going for your better tomorrow. Don't wait any longer and get started on your fitness journey today at PrincetonClub.net. That's PrincetonClub.net.
Looking for the most popular answer. What's the worst thing about Wisconsin winters? Gina Della from Pella.
Finding a sitter when snow closes school. Yay! It's the time of the year when we just want to be all warm and snuggly at home. And Pella helps make your home as beautiful on the outside as it is comfortable on the inside. With inviting doors to let friends and family in and beautiful energy-efficient windows to keep the cold out. Celebrate the new year with 0% interest for up to 3 years. Visit PellaWI.com today.
Certain restrictions apply.
As a bull rider, I prefer to do things single-handedly. That's why I love the UW Credit Union app. Doggy! It lets me check accounts, make transfers and more on the go. And if I need an extra hand, UW Credit Union has convenient local branches. Yippee! So, if you want simple mobile banking, mosey on over to UW Credit Union. They're here for every y'all. Federally insured by NCUA.
Zimbrick Honda has been a proud part of the Madison community since 1973. They're your one-stop shop for over 250 new Hondas to choose from. Whether you're looking for a sedan, SUV, or truck, their selection of new vehicles is second to none. Stop in today at their location on Fish Hatchery Road and lease a 2025 Honda Civic Hybrid Sport for as low as $234 per month. Or browse their vehicle selection online at ZimbrickHonda.com. That's ZimbrickHonda.com. Shop local, shop Zimbrick Honda.
Football season. Best time of the year and my favorite time of the year. This is ESPN Wisconsin's Brad Nortman. On game days, my favorite teammate is a cold carbless in my hand. Premium cocktails in a can made right here in the great state of Wisconsin. Maybe it's when I'm at the tailgate ahead of kickoff or getting ready at home for the game. Carbless is there. 0 sugar, 0 carbs, and gluten-free. Carbless features classic cocktails like margarita, Paloma, and even Moscow Mule, and vodka cocktail flavors like cranberry, lemon, and peach. Find it on your next grocery trip. Carbless. Less is more.
Watch every ESPN Madison show live every day. Subscribe to ESPN Madison on YouTube for live video of every show and exclusive content. Just search ESPN Madison.
Oh, the great Duke Tomato and the All-Star Frogs. You know what that music means? It means it's time for Uncle Homer. Steve the Homer True. You hear him as the voice of Marquette men's basketball. Across the Marquette Radio Network. You see him on YouTube on God Talk with Homer and Pip, which I believe he's recording today. And, of course, you catch him on the ever-shrinking Homer Hour, which still is an hour, but we're working on shortening it up even further. Homer, good morning. How are you?
I'm good. I would gladly tell Lafleur personally he's crazy. The information he said about Jordan Love is just flat out wrong. But
Which part?
Whoa. What do you mean?
Yeah, which part?
The last thing you want to do, especially publicly, is ask Jordan Love to be anything but what he is. You sit him down and say, you're fine. We'll work on it to get better next year. Don't throw as many interceptions. Work on your passes. This concept of leading in a way different than he has is just bad advice. Wrong.
So you don't want you don't want him to hold guys accountable? You don't want that?
No, you do it however he does it. I am the coach. I will decide how to hold those players accountable with the quarterback who I want to be, as you've used the words and Bulaga has, you want him to be himself.
Yes.
The job
Authentic.
of addressing that stuff is not Jordan Love's, especially as a young quarterback. It's yours as a coach to look at your quarterback and who he is and what he is, and then you hold the players accountable in a certain way. The last thing you want to do is to tell him to be something he's not. It's just wrong.
Does he have a point, or do you disagree, old boy?
I thought it was interesting that he put this out publicly, but I do think he wants Jordan. Yeah, I think he wants Jordan. Just because you've done things a certain way doesn't mean you can't grow and evolve into someone. Your responsibilities as you get paid more, as you become more of a veteran on a football team, your responsibilities change. That's just the way it goes. When you're at that position, you have to enhance that. It can't just be, well, this is how I am. I'm a real quiet guy. I don't really want to talk about it.
No, that's how it is. Yes.
No,
you have greater
you have to evolve.
and you're the same quiet guy. Yes, you evolve as a player. You evolve in your position. But you are that person. You tell me how many players you played with that dramatically changed who they were and how they did things.
Not a lot.
And my answer is going to be none.
Not a lot.
Very
well,
small.
none again is
Doesn't
your
matter
term,
what.
but not a lot.
Doesn't matter what your position is. It doesn't change because you're a quarterback in terms of who you are and how you act. Every day he needs to tell that kid, you be you and don't ever change. We'll deal with all this other stuff. You got to throw these passes better. They got to run the routes better. There are ways to handle it other than asking you to be different than what you are. And he's been on this
It's not
team
about
how
being
many years?
different. It's not about being different. It's about maybe emphasizing things and looking at things in a bigger picture than just what you're doing. I understand what you're saying. You're not crazy. And normally I'd say you're being crazy. I think Jason is kind of on your side. Jason's nodding your head, kind of like, yeah, I get what you're saying, Home Slice.
Well, not Home Slice, but the other part of it, yeah. So I guess my question for both of you then, and
was Dwayne Wade the same leader as a freshman as he was later on in his Marquette time? Or did he get more vocal as he got more confident and as he became more of the guy than he was when he first got there?
No, he was the same from day one.
Never changed.
I think he learned to be more competitive, but in terms of
isn't that changing?
Wade,
yeah, it is changing.
No, it's the way he played. No, it isn't.
But it is. I continue. I don't mean to interrupt you.
Accept it any way you want. I mean,
Yeah,
no.
I just did.
I
did.
Sort of.
So.
Well, you're not going to expand on it? Like, he did change.
No,
he
I just
evolved.
said no. You said you disagreed. My analysis, you just took my analysis and came with another way to do it. Now, plus, he's 19 years old. How old is let's ask
26.
About Dwayne Wade after he'd been in the NBA
Well,
4 years.
Let me tell you something. He did change his leadership when he decided it needed to be LeBron's team in Miami. He changed. He acquiesced some of that power, understanding LeBron needed to be. He was the best player. LeBron needed to be LeBron, and Dwayne had to take a step back. That's changing.
However, the situation changed. How Dwayne Wade was.
Yeah, the situation changed. Jordan was a first-year starter, and he's going to be a third-year starter. That situation changed. Am I right?
Dwayne Wade did not change who he was and how he was as a person. He adapted to whatever the situation was.
Adapt
but
another word
anybody
for
who was
change?
on that team, no, he didn't change.
No, adapting is a change,
he has a different role on the team, but Dwayne Wade's the same. And
Jordan Love has a different role on the team.
And he should
you get
act
what I'm saying?
exactly the same way. No, I'm telling you, it defends my point exactly. He
No,
does
it
not.
doesn't. It actually proves my.
Changes, but
Thank you
as a person do not change.
Thank you for proving my point. So
if I'm president of the United States, I'm going to be the same as I am right now. My position and importance has changed, but I have not changed at all. I'm the same then as I am now.
So you think Tom Cruise? Well, a second. You think
Tom
Cruise? If you think Tom Cruise, as a 19-year-old snot-nosed kid that didn't do anything, is going to be the same Tom Cruise that starred in Top Gun in the 80s, you think that didn't change how he was?
19-year-old kid. He's a guy who just got $50 million. Did Tom Cruise change from who he was?
Yes, he did.
From the time that from the time when he got $50 million to now? No. We're not talking about a 19-year-old. We're talking about a quarterback paid as much as anybody in the league.
And
So
that changes your expectations of him, Homer. That's what you're proving my point again.
Again, the situation changes. You don't want, and Jordan Love will not change. It should not change, even at $50 million in terms of who he is as a person.
So, Homer,
how he
quick
treats
question
with
for
other
you. Homer, quick question for you. Okay, so Malik Heath doesn't run the right depth. And we're not trying to pick on Malik today, but it's just that's what happened. Right. And Jordan Love is a more reserved, is what Matt Lafleur said, and I agree with him. So you just want Jordan to say, oh, shucks, Malik, just try to get the right depth next time. That's what you don't want him to be up there and say, can't have it. It sounds like Matt Lafleur wants that. You're saying, no, Jordan, you just keep doing what you're doing. I mean, is that what you're telling me?
Yes, and I'm saying it's not like he's new, okay? We would then have your receivers coach and different players put a responsibility on. If Jordan Love chooses to do it differently, then fine, let him do it differently. I'm not demanding that, and I don't think it's important. It's important as a head coach to recognize who your players are, treat them all differently, and then make adjustments in order to get what you want. Jordan Love is not the only person who can tell that wide receiver to run the route correctly.
He'll be the most impactful to have him. He'll be the most impactful.
Not if he hasn't been that way before, and they go, what the hell's the story with Jordan Love now? What's changed? What's the difference about him? He's been on the team for how many years?
Right, but three of them were spent as the backup. Yeah. And look, all right, so Homer, I think you make a very good point.
If yous can adapt, then we's can adapt. That's going to be my new rock.
My question, though, is that as your role changes or as your responsibilities change, you do have to change how you interact with people.
No, you don't.
No,
Homer said
I think,
no.
and I'm saying that you do. What I think we're losing here is that he cannot suddenly make a 180-degree turn and become scream in your face, phony tough guy. But Homer, if you don't think, I mean, look, one of the great things about you is you are one of one. That is one of the great, you are a unicorn. That said, you're telling me you haven't changed and adapted and adjusted based on your roles at whether it's GKB or with your previous stations. Like you didn't have to change at all. You didn't take a different approach to anything at all that time?
I take it in the manner of my personality. I have not changed who and what I am, and I don't want Jordan Love to do the same.
And I agree with you. But if you
don't tell him he needs to be more whatever. What did Lafleur say? He needs to be more what?
Vocal.
Right. And I sit down with Jordan Love and I said, I don't want you changing a bit. Here's what I want. I want you throwing better passes to this situation. I want you to do this and this and this. The mental stuff is all crap. You just need to play. Your problem isn't the mental or that you need to be tougher on your wide receivers. The problem is we got to play better. You got to throw better passes. They got to run a route. It isn't about this mental garbage, and the difference is the way you treat your wide receivers. Garbage. You got to play better.
Right, but wait a minute. Wait a minute. That's not what he said either. What he's saying is he needs to be more vocal. Now, you can take that however you want. You can take that as he needs to scream or he just needs to communicate better what the expectations are. So let's use Malik Heath's mistake in the game that results in the interception. Matt Lafleur, very clear yesterday saying that is a route that is supposed to be run at 20 yards. Malik Heath runs it at 15. It allows Zach Bond to be in the way, right, at the depth that he's at, and that causes the interception, right? And so what if he's just asking him to say, hey, look, I don't want to always be the guy that has to go tell Malik, hey, man, you got to run that at the right depth. If he's asking Jordan Love to be more vocal, but in his way of being vocal, I think that's just adapting. Okay. Like, instead of just letting it slide, I need you to say something to him. Say it in the way you choose. You want to scream and yell and use the F word and tell him he's a blanking idiot for not running it at the right depth?
Why hasn't he done it to this point?
Because we have to. Everyone has to step a little bit out of their comfort zone. Lord knows I've had to do it in the 9 years on this show. I don't think I've changed who I am to make adjustments to the situation I'm in. So
you sound like a hostage.
Well,
I don't have to change, but I gotta.
So I think there's, as I always believe about just about everything, there is a happy medium that you can find where you can be vocal in your way. But if it's coming from the quarterback, however he wants to say it to Malik Willis, like, you're killing me, Smalls. You want to quote a movie? Fine. You want to pretend you're Aaron Rodgers? Fine. You want to put your arm around him and say, dude, come on. I know you're better than that. You can't run it at 15. That's how that interception. However you choose to be vocal, I just need you to be a little more vocal. I don't think that's a huge ask, and I don't think it's asking him to change who he is. Can we agree on that or not?
My answer is no. My answer is I go in and say, I got to do a better job with the receivers. Keep playing the way you are. Keep leading the way you are, and I got to get the other people. Now, if in the process that Jordan Love then at some point does it on his own, which is possible but unlikely given what Tausch said. No, that communication is Lafleur to Jordan Love. I got to do better.
So wait, one more. All right, because I know you got to go. So you and I both love Shaka Smart. You have more interpersonal interactions with him than I do. I admire him from afar. You're telling me that he never asks Cam Jones to do something a little bit different? And ask him, are you comfortable with this? Can you do this?
I don't know.
Well, can you ask him the next time you see him?
No, I don't even know what to ask. What do you want me to ask?
Well, tell him what we talked about today and ask him as a coach if you ever ask guys to do something that maybe they're not initially comfortable with, but you believe is for the betterment of the team and you believe that player can do.
No, Homer's not comfortable in doing that, so he won't do it.
No.
And he's not going to change how he is.
You're not going to change how you approach your job. Why would you do that? Well, because I might find some really interesting information that you could go, well, no, I'm not going to do that because that's not who I am.
No. Like, I'm pretty comfortable the way I do it. I get the best information. It's nice of you to tell me how I could do it better to get more information.
Oh, boy, don't get pouty. Don't get pouty.
I'm asking you to get that.
I don't want somebody telling me how I'm supposed to do it, other than you, of course, which you not only do that, but you tell me how I think what I think.
Oh, you are pouty. Stop being so pouty.
And they'll be going like, Homer, what the hell happened to you? Oh, they told me I got to be better at doing this. Oh, yes.
Oh,
I thought your mom died. She did, but I got to do one.
I don't even take it. I don't think you have to take it that far. Holy, come on. Jeez.
Hey, great win over DePaul.
I want the White.
The Blue Demons. Your Blue Demons. Joey Meyer.
Is Ray Meyer
Joey Meyer.
I get the White because I understand who and what Jordan Love is. I think he's a good leader. I like the way he does things. I want him to keep being himself. And I'll do the things necessary to get the best out of my football team because I am the head coach.
Is that how you got to say it?
Yes, I'd apologize to Jordan
What are you, a
Love.
Southern
Jordan,
Belle? What are you, like,
better
designing
job.
women? What is going on here? Delta Burke made an appearance.
Wow, that's
oh, my gosh. Wow.
Delta Burke?
Yeah, big Delta Burke fan. Yep.
How many years ago?
She changed. Let me tell you something. She changed.
That's not very nice at all.
No, I'm not even saying it that way. She changed.
Nelly.
She went from just an aspiring actress to some big star. She had to adapt. She did.
He needs to play better. The last thing he needs to worry about is being different than himself.
Homer, let me know what Shaka says. Whatever you ask him, please.
I got to write down all that stuff.
Okay, I'll call you later.
And he'll go. Who wanted you to ask that question? Because I clearly ain't you. But I'll still ask it.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Bye. That's Homer.
That was a wild trip. That was a wild trip right there. Now
that was.
I'm not sure how we got to. I had a wild trip.
I hope he never changes.
Amen to that. I think it's too late. More next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
We're on the Packers.
The lesson to be learned is you can't be a 7 seed.
Because we're on Wisconsin sports.
They got to be better, and if they're not, then next year will be a disappointment.
Nobody covers the green and gold like 100.5 ESPN.
Mark Tauscher here to tell you a little bit more about Everlight Solar. We all know that electricity costs are on the rise. That's why you need to talk to my friends over at Everlight Solar. Their local team here in Madison is here to keep it simple. From your no-cost consultation to solar panel installation, the team at Everlight Solar will be with you every step of the way. Not only will they help you save money, but by switching to solar, you're also helping save the planet. Everlight Solar, a proud partner of Wisconsin Athletics. Check them out at everlightsolar.com.
Rah. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin present your Badger Minute. Here's Pablo Iglesias.
This Badger Minute is brought to you by Steinhafels. Get a new Tempur-Pedic mattress for just $52 per month with Steinhafels 60-month financing. Plus, you get $300 in Steinhafels cash only at Steinhafels. Love Madison Volleyball makes its home debut Friday night at the UW Fieldhouse, a familiar spot for Sarah Franklin. The former Badger turned pro talked about making the jump to the next level, a day-by-day process for the 2023 National Player of the Year.
You're not going to be fantastic at the first go of it. You know, it's a new ball, it's new girls, so I think being able to kind of slow it down for myself and just being able to give myself some grace, but then still being able to be loose and going and attacking the ball and attacking the serve. So definitely taking it a little bit slower and not getting too ahead of myself.
Pella can make your home as beautiful on the outside as it is comfortable on the inside. Celebrate the new year with 0% interest for up to 3 years at PellaWI.com.
How good would it feel to start the new year by losing those unwanted pounds? At Madison Weight Loss, our metabolic reset program can help you finally lose those pounds without all the stress and frustration of trying to figure it out on your own. The secret is our program helps reset your metabolism so you can keep the weight off for good. Learn how our clients on average lowered their metabolic age by 17 years. Go to MadisonWeightLoss.com now to schedule your free consultation and learn why your metabolism may be sabotaging your goals.
Hi, it's Jesse Nelson. Struggling to find a weight loss program that really works for you? I was, until I found Madison Weight Loss. In 60 days, I was able to drop 40 pounds simply by changing my diet.
Now is the time to end the cycle of weight gain and frustration without packaged food or injections. You could lose 20 to 30 pounds in just 60 days and have the tools to keep it off long term. You can do the program in person or virtually from anywhere you live. Schedule your free consultation now at MadisonWeightLoss.com. That's MadisonWeightLoss.com. Results may vary.
When you're in the right place at the right time, things get done. The important things, like knowing what you need and how it all works. Talking truck. Fixing it right the first time. At Zimbrick Chevrolet, our people get it done right and now. That's how you know you're in the right place at the right time. And you'll never overpay at Zimbrick Chevrolet.
I'm John Hayes, owner of Goodman's Jewelers. We've been at the heart of many magical moments, from engagements to weddings to sweet 16s. It warms my heart to be a part of these moments for 40 years with people I consider family. With the highest standards and an eye for classic beauty, enjoy a warm boutique setting at Goodman's Jewelers, where integrity shines in every gem. At 220 State Street, Goodman's Jewelers, the Diamond Store, Madison, since 1933.
The best is at Goodman's.
Outside In. That's what we call our Outdoor Living Unlimited showroom at 2018 South Stoughton Road. All the cool stuff you want outside in your yard displayed inside. Patios, decks, pavers, and an automated pergola, fire pit, outdoor kitchen, a putting green, and in-ground pool. Even a converting 3-season room that's either outside or inside. We are Outdoor Living Unlimited. Your outdoor living potential awaits you at our Outside In showroom, 2018 South Stoughton Road. OutdoorLivingUnlimited.com.
We're on the Packers.
Just wasn't good enough against the really good teams in this league.
Because we're on Wisconsin sports.
It's something that we'll focus on this offseason.
Nobody covers the green and gold like 100.5 ESPN.
Slow down on Monday, not a sound on Wednesday. Yeah, might get loud on Friday, but on Saturday, we paint the town.
I'm not sure what we resolved there, but it's always entertaining with Uncle Homer.
And by the way, you can change. Like
eyes can change, views can change.
I know Homer doesn't think so, but as you evolve in your career, you're asked to do different things. To sit here and act like I was expected to do the same things as a second-year player with Marco and Wally and Flanny that I was with Will Whitaker and with all the young guys, Darren College and that crew. Like, it's just that's absurd. Like, things change. Change is constant. I mean, 100 different quotes about change. I just don't understand where Homer's coming from.
Well, one thing you both agree on is Prize Picks is fun to play.
It is, and it is the best place to get real money sports action. Over 10 million members, billions of dollars in awarded winnings. Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to everybody, and it's simple to play. More or less, you get at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 1,000 times your cash. And you know what? With the playoffs, it is super fun. You have all kinds of great football action. You got NBA action. You got it all. Some fun ones this week I'm sure we'll look at on Friday as far as what we're thinking about. It is the best place to turn those sports opinions. Everybody's got them. How much do you feel it? You can play Prize Picks and turn that into real money. Download the app today. Use code WI. Get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Again, download the app today. Use code WI to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. If I think Detroit's defense is beaten up, I think Jaden Daniels probably going to have a day. All right, turn that opinion into a little cash if that's what you're thinking. I think Lamar Jackson's going to run all over Buffalo's defense. All right. Hey, sports opinion. Get a little bit of that bread. Prize Picks.
And then get those 2 things wrong, and you lost. Run.
Your
game.
That's part of Prize Picks. You're not going to win them all.
Or you'd be as smart as me, you get them all right.
Of course. You're on a heater. We'll kick off the 11 o'clock hour in 2 minutes, so stick around. It's Wilde and Tausch.
Don't go anywhere. Another hour of Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, is coming up next on ESPN Wisconsin, the ESPN app, and Wisconsin On Demand.
Every event tells a story, from the first impression to the final moments. Have someone guide your guests through every chapter the way you want the story told. Hi, it's Jeffrey from Celebrations Entertainment. With a strong presence, great voices, and an award-winning team, trust us to guide, direct, and inform your guests through all the different chapters of the day. For fun, memorable entertainment for any event, please visit us at celebrationsentertainment.com. That's celebrationsentertainment.com.
This is former Wisconsin linebacker Chris Orr. You're listening to 100.5 ESPN, WTLX, Monona, Madison, a good Karma Brands radio station on Wisconsin.
Broadcasting live from the Everlight Solar Studio, this is your Metro Kia of Madison Sports Center.
Good morning, Madison and streamers everywhere. I'm Jesse Nelson, Sports Center, brought to you by Tuesday Night Hoops on Zimbrick Honda's Prep Mania all season long. Catch the best area high school basketball games every Tuesday night on 100.5 ESPN and live video streaming free on the ESPN Madison YouTube channel. The debrief continues as we enter the off-season following the Packers' loss to the Eagles on Wild Card Weekend. Yesterday, head coach Matt Lafleur meeting with the media for the final time this season. The head coach talking about Jordan Love's vocal leadership heading into year 3 as the starter next season.
I think the next step is just to continue to evolve as a vocal leader. I think that just kind of comes with the position naturally, and I think he's taken steps to get there, but I think he can really demand a lot.
Plenty more conversation earlier on Wilde and Tausch. Former Packers offensive lineman Bryan Bulaga joined the show. Find the full conversation available on Wisconsin On Demand, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. Basketball, big wins last night. 24th ranked Wisconsin, 70-68 at the Kohl Center over Ohio State. Greg Gard gets his 200th career win as the head coach of the Badgers. 7th ranked Marquette, 85-83 in overtime on the road at DePaul. Bucks 130-115 over Sacramento.
Metro Kia of Madison, Madison's trusted Kia dealer. Stop into Metro Kia on the east side of Madison or metrokiaofmadison.com.
The 11 o'clock hour of Wilde and Tausch begins now. Negotiations are underway with Davante Adams. Not with the Packers for a trade, but for him appearing on the show.
Oh, okay. What does he need? Some hot sauce?
Of all the things you could have
Mild?
gone with there, you went hot sauce?
Well, he loves tacos. Yeah.
I know, but he's already got... I'm guessing that inside that drive-thru that he's got for a taco establishment that will remain nameless, I'm sure they have, like, the hot sauce in...
Don't you think it would have been a better move to have, like, a food truck out in front of your house? Like, that would have been more believable, right, than to have a legitimate restaurant in
So
your
your
house?
issue with the ad campaign is it's not realistic?
Well, first off, I figure Davante doesn't want a bunch of people coming in to his house to order a gordita.
Well,
like, I just don't think that's something that he
It's not open
wants
to the
do.
public. That's not the point of a
You
restaurant
don't
in his
know
house.
that. You don't know that.
Wait, we're arguing about a theoretical restaurant, and that's not even his house. That's like a television set.
What?
Probably.
That's
More
not
than
his
likely.
house?
Yeah, Jesse, you got a lot to learn. You got a lot to learn about the biz.
I was
going
to
digital
volunteer.
star.
All three of us will volunteer to work the establishment in his house
I'm
for
gonna
a
pass.
day.
I'm not going to do that. But
I
you
don't
two-
think
Come on,
I'd
you
be
can
a
work
good
the
hire.
window. I'll work the
No,
register.
I don't want to.
Jason's making the chalupas. We're good.
No, I don't want to. You guys can, though.
Can't wait for Tausch to have that Baskin Robbins installed in his house. So
actually seems easier than what Davante's got, honestly.
Indeed. So Speaking of Devontae Adams, Matt Lafleur and I went back and forth a little bit on. Was that yesterday?
It was
Time
yesterday.
flies by.
Feels like it.
Yesterday, about the concept of a number one wide receiver. And I think I may have even interrupted him at one point in our back and forth.
Attaboy, it's fun, isn't it?
I got a great teacher. Here is that exchange.
You've had quarterbacks at so many different points in their careers throughout your coaching career. Going into year 3, I mean, it's hard not to look at what Jordan did during the second half of last season and then compare it to some of the struggles he had at different times this season and not know quite where he is. So when you look at where he is and what you're challenging him to become, how critical is year 3 to kind of make that big jump?
I think I've said this many times, but the QB is going to get the blame when you lose, and he's going to get the praise when you win. I mean, I believe that football is the ultimate team sport, and it's not just him. Like, we got to catch the ball better. I mean, we had a lot of drops. I don't know where we ranked in the league. I mean, you guys probably know that, right? Where were we, Spoon?
Last.
Okay. That's what I figured, but I didn't want to say that. Yeah. Not where we want to be. So, I mean, I guess that's one example. I mentioned earlier, you know, I think it's hard to throw when I tell our defense all the time, I've never seen a quarterback that can complete a pass when he's on his back, or very few. So, like, when you're getting pressure, that it's hard to be effective. It's hard. Your numbers aren't probably not going to be very good.
I understand that. I'm just, you know this, having played the position, that is, fair or not, that's what happens, right?
Absolutely, 100%. And I think you got to take it in stride, and that's why you always got to go back. To me, I think the numbers tell you one thing, but you got to watch the tape and analyze the tape and see what areas can we get better in. And I think just the one thing I did talk to him about was, you know, just the consistency of his footwork on some of these plays. I would say, and I think he would be the first to tell you the same thing, because there were some instances throughout the course of the season, and specifically in this last game, where the rhythm and timing is especially when you have a rhythm play, whether you're like quick game, for example, just that left-right footwork that we take, just hitting your back foot and letting it rip. Or if you do take a hitch, you got to find your check down typically, or progress on. So I would say that, just because I think that's the foundation of great quarterback play is the fundamentals, the techniques, the footwork. And I think we experienced that with him this year, to be honest with you. When he wasn't practicing, it wasn't quite as crisp. So I do think, back to the injury deal, like, that was a big deal when he wasn't practicing. And just how conscious we have to be about all the fundamentals when we are practicing. So that'll be, that'll be on the, I would say, on the forefront of our minds all the time. Every practice is just making sure our fundamentals are sharp. And then I think another thing that we could do a little bit better is just, and we probably got to rep this a little bit more, is in our scramble drills in practice. You know, so many times you get used to throwing the right look or whatever, and you're scripting, especially when you're scripting against the defense, you want the quarterbacks to, if they get the look in the game, you want, while you're calling the play, you want it to be automatic. So a lot of times you'll script those. That's why I love our unscripted periods when we go offense versus defense, because you have no idea what's coming, and now you got to play it. You got to play it, the play, you know, just play it out. And so naturally, some of those scramble opportunities could come up in those situations, but that's an area that I think collectively everybody, from receivers, tight ends, and backs, we got to get better at.
So I interrupted Lafleur so many times yesterday that I got confused as to which time it was. We'll do the number one wide receiver discussion tomorrow.
You should have interrupted him again.
Yeah, I thought about it. He was rambling.
Pretty windy.
Yeah,
Pretty windy.
And the point being that eventually he got to critiquing some of the actual quarterbacking, right? Like he loves to say it's not just the quarterback. He says it all the time. He says it there. But come on, man, we live in the real world.
I love when you go back to it. You played the position.
Well, he
A
did.
long time ago for Omaha, right?
Well, no, he played in college too.
College. We all know quarterback play, it's hard. And it's difficult when you can't practice and you're laboring injuries, and I give Jordan a ton of credit for fighting through it. I am not discouraged by Jordan Love at all. Not even he did not have the season I hoped, but I think my expectations were higher than they needed to be. If you look at his numbers, yes, he had some picks. He threw more picks than we want to see. He needs to get back to, I think, and find that scramble ability. Like, I think making plays, that was the part that was the most interesting. Some of the improv stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That does need to get repped. And when you're laboring with a groin or you're laboring with a knee, you probably are like, I just got to get rid of the football. Part of playing the quarterback position, you don't want it to be all improv, but that's when you separate from being a good player to a great player. Is I got 6 or 7 of those snaps a game where I get out of the pocket and I make something happen, whether it was with my feet or keeping my eyes downfield and making plays. And having receivers that understand that and can do that too, that takes time. So we did not see that this year. And when you take those plays out of the equation, you don't beat the great teams. That's how you win. That's why Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson have found ways to win those games, is that they can do that. They are those talent. And Jordan Love, I'm not going to say he's as good of a runner as those two, but he can definitely make plays with his feet. We saw that in the game. He made a few plays with his feet. When stuff is broken down, sometimes when you make those bad decisions, it's when you stay in the pocket a little bit too long, you get hit, or you make a bad decision or a bad throw because you can't be on a steady platform. That's why I like the bootlegs and all the play action, because it clears things up. It makes things easier. You get some of those, and all of a sudden maybe you're in a little bit more of a rhythm. Then when it's always 3rd and 6 and you just got to make great plays, it's a lot to ask of a quarterback.
Yeah, and I get all that, and I understand that the offensive line has to protect him. And he talked about how good Jordan is at the subtle movements in the pocket to avoid sacks and his feel. That is a great quality to have. Obviously, Rodgers had it as well. At the same time, again, this is life in the big city as an NFL quarterback who gets paid $55 million a year and got $160 million guaranteed. You are going to get more praise and more blame, but you're paid to deal with that. And in his situation, like, let's be honest, his accuracy was not what it was or what you wanted it to be. And was that injury related? Was that protection related? Was it guys running the routes at the wrong depths related?
Fundamentals.
All
It's a combo of everything. Yep.
But it's also him, right? That is part of
him. I heard that. He is him.
No, I've heard that too. So, again, and we'll get into the number one wide receiver thing tomorrow.
I was just going to say, what does that have to do with the number one wide receiver?
Yeah, I set you up with the wrong audio. That was my fault.
That's the way to be accountable.
You
are adapting. You are adapting as a host. Like that.
I was watching a clip this morning. I was watching a clip this morning of Andy Reid getting screamed at by Mike Holmgren for something that Favre did, and him taking the blame for Favre. That was on me. I sent the wrong call in. Well, what the hell did you do that for? When he didn't really send the wrong call in.
So you wouldn't have been able to play for Holmgren, huh?
I don't think I could have played for Dick Bennett, and I love him, right? Like, he would have had to come to my dorm room and say, I'm sorry I yelled at you, Jason, like he told us he would do sometimes. And I love the guy. But, yeah, it would have been tough. But you know what I would have had to do if I wanted to play? I would have had to change and adapt. Because otherwise, I'd be transferring. And they didn't have the portal back then. So, again, I think it's interesting because if you start with, he's got to be a more vocal leader when asked what he needs to take a step in, I thought that answer while rambling at least got to some of the things that as an actual quarterback, Jordan Love needs to do better. And those things are not unfair to ask him to do better, unlike the discussion we had with Homer, in my opinion.
Fair.
All right, we need to play trivia, and it is Wednesday, and that means it's double geography.
Double-decker trivia. Oh, baby. Up North Joe, or is it Up North Jelly?
Jesse, who wrote these category questions?
I am happy to share that for the first time in 2025, we do have an assist from Up North Joe on today's trivia. So he has one set of questions. I have the other. We'll let the first caller decide which one they want, I suppose.
I feel like we need to do a dueling deal where we have Up North Joe asking from, because where does Up North Joe live normally? He's
East
not always
East Troy.
So we need to do like
proper,
a down south Joe where he kind of focuses more on the southern part of the state. And then the Up North Joe. So we have dueling Joes working both of his homes. Does that make sense?
Joe is always receptive to your feedback, and I'm sure he will do that next time we ask.
Why do you always have to fix everything?
I'm like the tool man. Tausch the tool man. Timmy the tool man Tausch. Something like that.
All right. Jesse, what callers do you want for your Up North Joe assisted trivia?
I don't know. Caller 9 and 17 for the last two number one wide receivers on the Packers.
Did you just do what I think you did? Did you just proclaim Christian Watson a number one wide receiver?
Well, didn't anybody else this year, Jason?
All right, caller 9 and caller 17. 844-770-3776. 844-770-3776. Caller 9, caller 17 to play trivia. Tausch, tell us about Fortria while we get callers for trivia.
I will. FortriaClinicalTrials.com. We got you covered if you're looking for a little extra spending cash. They got some studies for you. Healthy adults ages 18 to 60, BMI 18 to 32. 2 stays, 15 nights, 7 follow-ups, $13,820 for your time and participation. Head over to FortriaClinicalTrials.com. That's Fortria, Fortrea, ClinicalTrials.com.
Trivia's next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
This is Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella today, 855-PELLA-WI, and online at PellaWI.com/radio.
Model year closeout specials are going on now at Zimbrick Chevrolet in Sun Prairie. Mark Tauscher here, encouraging you to log on to ZimbrickChevrolet.com to check out all the 2024 model year closeout specials. If you're in the market for a new vehicle, now is the perfect time to take advantage of some great year-end offers. It's also the time of the year where cold weather can impact your vehicle's performance. A few helpful tips from the service team at Zimbrick Chevrolet. If your battery is 5 years old or more, consider changing it right now. Don't wait to get stranded. Don't ignore your tires. When it snows, you know how important it is for your tires to have great traction on the slippery roads. And don't forget your windshield wipers. Don't set yourself up for a bad situation by looking through streaks and smears. Just stop by Zimbrick Chevrolet. They can replace your wiper blades. Just stop by Zimbrick Chevrolet so they can replace your wiper blades. Keep your vehicle ready for winter driving. Book an appointment with the service team at Zimbrick Chevrolet right now at ZimbrickChevrolet.com. Zimbrick Chevrolet on Main Street in Sun Prairie. The name you can trust.
Monday nights this football season, huddle up for the Great Dane Huddle, driven by Janesville Kia.
I go to the Ohio State fans. They are so ridiculous. It's not even fair to acknowledge them because they are ridiculous. For some reason, they think they invented football in Ohio. That's why I used to love to kick their ass.
The Great Dane Huddle, driven by Janesville Kia. Mondays at 6 on 100.5 ESPN and Wisconsin On Demand.
Join the Madison Money Guy, Christian Finfrock, for Retirement Income Strategies, Saturday and Sunday mornings at 7. Get the information you need as you plan for retirement. That's Retirement Income Strategies, Saturday and Sunday mornings at 7. Investment advisory services offer the Retirement Income Strategies, an SEC-registered investment advisor.
Do you want to have more fun watching the NFL playoffs? Try playing Sleeper Picks. Just download the Sleeper app today and pick more or less on at least 2 players' projected stats. You can win up to 100 times your cash. For a limited time, Sleeper has a special offer. New users have to just play $5 $100 and they'll receive $55 in free entries. Just download the Sleeper app today and use code BRAD, B-R-A-D. Must be 18 years or older. Promo code, location, and other restrictions apply. Minimum deposit $25. See terms of use for details. Please play responsibly. Call 1-800-426-2537 for help.
When it comes to security for your home and family, you want a winner, and we found one when we placed our trust with J&K Security Solutions. This is Greg Gard. Kim and Jeff hit the game-winning shot for us with the Control 4 home technology system. Home or away, from our smartphones, we can open the garage door, dim the lights, turn on the TV, as well as arm the security system. That's convenience as well as peace of mind. Let J&K Security Solutions do for your home or business like they've done for us. Call 255-5799 or online at jksecurity.com.
Since 1956, Holman Lindsay Paints has been making paint in Wisconsin for Wisconsin. Because of their commitment to making great paint for Wisconsinites, Holman Lindsay has grown over the years to 26 locations in this great state. Headquarters in Sun Prairie with a state-of-the-art facility, Holman Lindsay has the paint you need to make your job better. From do-it-yourself to professional, Holman Lindsay has paint for everyone. Visit one of their local locations today in Madison, Sun Prairie, Middleton, and Janesville.
Ben Brust here to tell you about the Princeton Club. I joined the Princeton Club because I was looking for a place I could invest in my health, and the environment and the community I have felt has made it so easy for me to incorporate it into my everyday life. It doesn't matter where you're at in your fitness journey because they have something to offer everyone. It also goes beyond fitness. From the moment you walk in the club to the moment you walk out, there is a togetherness felt throughout the members and staff that keeps you going for your better tomorrow. Don't wait any longer and get started on your fitness journey today at PrincetonClub.net. That's PrincetonClub.net.
When you've been seriously injured, you'll need a team with knowledge and experience to get the results you deserve. Call Gruber Law Offices today. Proud partner of your Milwaukee Bucks. One call, that's all.
Wilde and Tausch on 100.5 ESPN is brought to you by Everlight Solar. Save money, save the planet. Everlight Solar.
We got ourselves an interesting conundrum. You all right there? Your coffee tastes good?
Yeah, it tastes really good.
You made kind of a face there.
Well, I love a conundrum, so I'm kind of curious.
All right, so let's welcome in our contestants. First, caller 9 was Mike, the wedding DJ. Mike, good morning. How are you, buddy?
I'm fine. Happy New Year.
Were you surprised that Jesse answered the phone? Because it seems like he never works when you call.
I've just missed and been the caller right before the number he wanted the last few times, so it was nice being the right caller.
Yes, indeed. All right, and then Alex in Madison, a first-time contestant. Alex, good morning.
Good morning.
Now, here's the conundrum. Mike, the wedding DJ, and Jesse have some history. They've taken a beat. They've had a meal.
Yeah, have a meal.
We have done that, yeah.
The question is, because he's the first caller, you get to choose. Do you want your good buddy Jesse's questions, or do you want Up North Joe's questions? And we will be judging you based on the decision you make and what it says about your relationship with Jesse.
Well, I had my dinner with Fat Jesse, but I want my questions from Skinny Jesse.
Oh, look at that.
Fat Jesse.
Well, he knows Jesse well enough to know that Jesse can take that kind of criticism.
Clearly, yes. Well, Mike is a very vocal
leadership.
leader.
It's actually when I was at my largest, probably it was right before I started the program. I got
right
dinner
after you
with
finished
Mike.
the meal.
Yeah, that's about right. Yeah.
Did you guys go to Cut?
No,
right,
we went to the Great Dane right before the Great Dane Huddle. Not with Barry Alvarez at the time.
Oh, lot of changes since you guys went. Things change. You got to adapt. All right, here we go then. Question 1, Mike, from Skinny Jesse's questions about Wisconsin geography.
Kale is grown in which of the corridors?
Is this? Which Wisconsin county is the smallest by land area? Is it Pepin, Dane, or Itty Bitty County?
Well, it's definitely not Dane, so it's not the third one ever, so it's got to be Pepin.
Where, Tausch, you know every
I don't know.
county in the state. Where's
I was
Pepin?
just going to ask. I don't know. Where's Pepin County?
Well, you're
I don't
supposed
know.
to.
I
You're
have
supposed to be
I
the
don't
one that
know.
knows. I'll get on it.
I know all
Just wait a
74
second.
counties.
There's 72, I think. But
Except for Pepin, so 71 apparently. So tiny, itty bitty. All right, Alex, here's your question number 1 from Up North Joe. Which Wisconsin is this real?
I think these two are at a meat raffle and they compared notes.
I do. I think they may have conjured these up together. Up North Joe, question number 1 for you, Alex, is which Wisconsin county is the largest by land area?
Oh, did you look at that?
Is it
I would take a
Marathon?
guess. Can I take a guess before you even list it?
No, you may
okay,
not.
I won't then. Okay.
Write it
All
down
okay.
and then reveal your answer.
I did. I just wrote it down in my head.
I just wrote it down in my head. Is it Marathon, Racine, or Wumbo Jumbo?
Definitely Marathon.
Nice. Confidently, well delivered. I love it.
I think I would have said Grant was the one I was thinking. It seems like it's such a big chunk of land.
Well, you would have
see
been
the
wrong.
county lines. Okay.
Pepin Longstocking. All right, question 2.
You know what Marathon County is known for?
Potatoes.
Nope.
Ginseng.
Ginseng. The number one
was-
producing ginseng.
legendary.
That was the question.
You guys know I used to put the roofs up on the when we covered because you have to have a certain amount of shade when you're a ginseng farmer. I went up and I used to work the fields. I don't know if you guys knew that.
Did you have 3 on a tree on the truck you were driving when you were doing that too, or no?
No, but I did
That's a
run
different
into
story.
one of our Eric Gramsey, my old buddy I played with. We ran into a mutual friend from Johnson & Sons Paving last night. We had those discussions. I told my 3 on a tree story last night at the Bucks game.
It's a classic.
Pepin County Northwest.
Pretty good little yarn.
Near
Is it by Poplar?
Near Mondovi.
Is it by Poplar?
I don't see Poplar on the map, but
Is there any ginseng there? All right, question 2 for you, Alex. No, we're still on Mike, right?
Alex just went. They're both one
Way
for
to go.
one. Now we're back to Mike.
Well, it felt like we had a long conversation with Mike as if he'd been asked a question, but he hadn't. All right, question 2, Mike. Latitudinally, which of these following Wisconsin landmarks is located farthest north? Farthest north. Is it Rib Mountain, the Baraboo Range, or Timms Hill?
All right, I've never heard of the last one, so I'm going to guess Timms Hill.
I love the approach you take,
It's up
man.
by Medford. It's up by Medford, highest point in the state, if my
Not
memory
too far
serves
from
me.
Mondovi, or what?
Let's refrain from any further conversation of Timms Hill until Alex gets to answer his question.
Oh,
Okay. Question 2, Alex.
Uh-oh.
Where do they make ginseng near Timms Hill? Question 2. Which of the following is the highest point in Wisconsin?
Oh, God.
The fact
you
that
hear
you brought
this?
up the ginseng story and then did it again on the same day is incredible.
It's an ironic deal.
So think long and hard about this, Alex.
I'm just going to start sending Tausch the questions.
Can I
Which
just
of the
hear what the other
following-
2 options were out of curiosity?
Yeah, sure.
Which of the following is the highest natural point in Wisconsin, sitting at 1,951 feet above sea level? Is it Rib Mountain, the Baraboo Range, or Timms Hill?
It's definitely Timms Hill. Tausch, don't feel bad. I knew that one.
Yeah, there we go.
What a good teammate. What a good leader Alex is.
I feel like we're in Slumdog Millionaire, the movie right now, because my brother and I, we decided we were going to do the Ice Age trail hike. We were going to do 4 days. And I don't know if you guys remember this. I took off, and then we did it, and it was a huge monsoon of a rain, and all the trails were slop, and we were going to camp and do all this stuff. We had one of those sweet straws that circulate all the stuff. We were going to live off the land, and we decided early on, and by that it was miserable, bugs and everything else. We cut it short, but we still went to Tim's Hill to finish off our hike. We ended up doing like 20-some miles in one day. To call it, we were going to do like 10 or 12 at a plop, and we just said, the heck with it, let's just get done, because, I mean, it was grease lightning out there in those trails.
How'd your knee feel afterward?
I felt fine. It was tough sledding.
Question 3.
Yeah, this is about the Ice Age trails. Then we're really on something.
Question 3, Mike. Which of the following accurately describes the location of Lena, Wisconsin? Is it north of Green Bay, west of Oshkosh, or south of La Crosse?
Oh, God. Can I hear those choices again?
No, you may not. Sorry, you'll just have to guess. No, here. Again, Lena,
Is
Wisconsin.
Is it less altitude than Tim's Hill?
Where is Lena, Wisconsin in relation to Tim's Hill? All right.
Who the hell's Tim is my other question.
Which of these accurately describes the location of Lena, Wisconsin? Is it north of Green Bay? Is it west of Oshkosh? Or is it south of La Crosse?
Okay, so I know it's not south of La Crosse, and I think it's near Green Bay, so I'm going to guess north of Green Bay.
I'll tell you what.
Really good deductive reasoning by
very,
Wedding
very
DJ.
good. Now,
That's
stop
really
talking just in case you're going to give away another answer.
Done.
Question 3 for you, Alex, and an opportunity at a perfect score for you as well.
Perfect week.
I knew you were going to do that, and I was trying not to. Wisconsin is home to one of the largest concentrations of ginseng. No, concentrations of elongated hills that form at a glacier's bed and parallel the ice flow direction. What are these geographical features known as? A little more complicated than what best describes Lena, Wisconsin's location, I might say. All right? Geographical features that are elongated hills that form at a glacier's bed and parallel the ice flow direction. Are these called fens, drumlins, or oak savannas?
Drumlins.
I would agree. Drumlins.
Glacial Drumlin
Ice
Trail, I
Age
believe.
Drumlin Trail. Absolutely. It all comes back full circle, baby.
God, what a great round of trivia. Gentlemen!
That was, you boys, everybody involved. Everybody. Question up north, Joe, Jesse, that is what we're talking about. That's the standard. I don't want anybody to change when it comes to trivia. But that was 4 people doing a fantastic job of giving us great entertainment.
Totally agree. Great vocal leadership by you, by the way. First of all, Mike, you got all 3 right. You got 4 entries. Well done, buddy. Thank you. I look forward to your lunch with Skinny Jesse sometime soon.
Sweet. Love you guys.
And
love
Alex, what a debut. Your first
he
time
was fantastic.
contestancy.
Absolutely.
With a little help from Tausch, even though you said you knew the answer anyway. You also, with all 3 correct, you have 4 entries into Friday's drawing as well. Thanks, buddy, and welcome to the show.
Deuces B.
Deuces B.
So clearly,
you guys.
He may have been a first-time contestant, but he's a long-time listener. Yeah.
Oh, that was fun. Jesse, great job with you and Up North, Joe, man. That was fun.
I have a follow-up for you from Up North, Joe, who's actively listening to the program as well.
Yeah.
Tim's Hill is named after Timothy Gahan.
Charlemagne?
No, Gahan, Gahan, however you want to say that.
Soft G, or soft H, probably.
Anna.
A logger who camped near the hill in the late 1800s.
Is that right?
Logger.
I'm not going to lie to you. That'd be a cool thing. That'd be a cool monument to have.
Tausch's Hill?
Tausch's Hill, yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant you'd be a logger. Do that thing where you're like spinning it in the water.
Spinning on it. Yeah, good footwork.
Yeah.
Good footwork.
And then afterward, you could go and get make a hearty bowl of soup with your potatoes for sale.
They got those soups for sale at Quick Trip. Everything's for sale. Life is busy. Quick Trip gets it. Whether you're craving fresh coffee, a tasty bakery treat, or a quick grab-and-go meal,
the heck was
Quick Trip is your go-to. Variety and quality and fast service. Quick Trip's team is all about making your day easier and better. Clean restrooms, fresh groceries, and everything in between. Quick Trip, they got you covered. Plus, you got free air for your tires. Make sure with it cold out, make sure that's the deal. Nature's Touch butter, $2.99 a pack. Assorted varieties of the bagels, 99 cents each, or 3 for $2.79. And chicken, $6.99 roasted whole chickens on Mondays. And today is Wednesday. You get that 8-piece fried chicken or the tenders for $9.99. And you can heat up with those cold winter days like today with soup bags, $6.99 on Tuesdays. Cheese Mountain Pizzas, Thursdays and Fridays, $6.99. Download the Quick Rewards app. Take advantage of everything that Quick Trip has to offer. Order ahead for pickup or curbside delivery. Quick Trip, we'll see you next time.
Whoa, Nelly is next. And I wonder if Jesse can squeeze in some Bill Barnwell gobbledygook.
No, we got something way more important to get to. Old Jelly on the national stage today, fellas.
Old Jelly on the national stage. I can't wait to hear about what
That's
might
a
look
tease
like.
right there, ladies and gentlemen. We'll find out all about it next.
This is Wilde and Tausch, driven by Zimbrick Chevrolet in Sun Prairie on 100.5 ESPN. See their full inventory at ZimbrickChevrolet.com.
Start the new year saving money and helping to save the planet by making an energy switch to Everlight Solar. Mark Toscher here, and whether you want some extra spending cash to buy a new jersey, tickets to a big upcoming game on the road, or anything else you may be thinking, you can find some extra cash in your pocket when you start saving money with the switch to Everlight Solar. Our family, we were looking to make the switch to solar for quite some time, but we weren't quite sure where to even start. That's when we met the team over at Everlight Solar. From the very first conversation, they educated us on the benefits of solar while also helping keep the process simple. Join us in saving a ton of money and creating a greener environment for our family and the community by switching to solar. Learn more and schedule a free consultation at everlightsolar.com. That's everlightsolar.com.
Breaking news on ESPN Madison is presented by Metro Ford and Metro Kia of Madison. Find the Metro family of auto dealers online or see them in person on the east side of Madison today.
Home practice is about to begin. Your daughter's new tap shoes? Loud. Your son's new tuba? Louder. But you got this. Just like Associated Bank's got you with $50 overdraft Greystone. So if you lose track of expenses buying some noise-canceling and sanity-saving headphones, we've got your back. You got this with $50 overdraft Greystone from Associated Bank. See AssociatedBank.com/checking or ask a banker for details. Member FDIC.
Hi, Drew and Jonathan Scott here, reminding you that a lot of life's firsts are better with help from American Family Insurance. Like your first home expansion or your first big lightning strike. There's a first for everything. Get the right home policy at the right price with the right help from American Family's agents. Life's better when you're under American Family's roof. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company SI and its operating company 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
From the biggest plays on the court to the comments made in the locker room after, an in-depth recap of every Bucks game in 6 minutes. No more, no less. Bucks in 6 provides game recaps for every game. Hear the high-flying dunks from Giannis.
Puts it on the floor, spins down the lane, and plunges it through.
Or the deep threes from Dame.
Dame time has arrived with 107.
Bucks in 6 on the Bucks Plus Audio Network. Find it now on bucks.com/plus or on Spotify, Apple, and wherever you get your podcasts.
Hello, I'm John Hayes, the owner of Goodman's Jewelers. It's been my pleasure to serve this community from this incredible store for over 4 decades. We stand upon high standards and classic traditions, pillars like honesty and integrity. Stop into Goodman's Jewelers, the longest-standing full-service jewelry store in the heart of Madison at 220 State Street. Goodman's Jewelers, the diamond store of Madison since 1933.
The best is at Goodman's.
Looking for the most popular answer. What's the worst thing about Wisconsin winters? Gina Della from Pella.
Finding a sitter when snow closes school. Yay! It's the time of the year when we just want to be all warm and snuggly at home. And Pella helps make your home as beautiful on the outside as it is comfortable on the inside. With inviting doors to let friends and family in and beautiful, energy-efficient windows to keep the cold out. Celebrate the new year with 0% interest for up to 3 years. Visit PellaWI.com today.
Certain restrictions apply.
Come see what the buzz is all about at Madison Axe, Madison's state-of-the-art entertainment spot. Enjoy 8 lanes of axe throwing, craft beer, interactive games, plus digital target projection and scoring. For even more fun, check out their indoor backyard with 2,000 square feet of shuffleboard, cornhole, yard games, bar table games, and more. Perfect for date night, groups, corporate meetings, or private events. Madison Axe is your destination for all things fun. Throw it, nail it, celebrate. Go to MadisonAxe.com or head to their location on Stoughton Road today.
We're on the Packers.
The Green Bay Packers simply couldn't beat the elite talent in the NFC.
Because we're on Wisconsin sports.
They were good. They were not good enough.
Nobody covers the green and gold like 100.5 ESPN.
Jesse Nelson on the national stage? Whoa, Nelly.
If the topic is good, the guys discuss.
Just the other morning I had breakfast at Tracy Rocker's house. His mama brought out 15 flapjacks. He said, Mama, take back 5 of them flapjacks. I gotta stay hungry for the Crimson Tide.
But if it's not, the show must go on. It's time for
Whoa, Nelly!
On Wilde and Tausch.
All right, so let's clarify a couple of things going into this.
Gee, I wonder if this was misleading.
I was not heard on a national stage. I will not be heard on a national stage. And I'm not even particularly proud of being heard on the national stage, my opinion on this matter. But it happened, and I think we should review it. Jason, yesterday, while you were catching up with head coach Matt Lafleur for 45 minutes at the start of our show, Evan Cohen, host of Unsportsmanlike, weekday mornings on ESPN Radio, joined us. And I shared with Evan that I am in support of his co-host and fellow Packers fan, Michelle Smallman, in now that the Packers have been eliminated, that I would like to see the Detroit Lions represent the NFC in the Super Bowl. And here is how the start of what was the 8 a.m. Central Time hour of Unsportsmanlike sounded today on ESPN Radio, on affiliates nationwide.
I was on yesterday with Wilde and Tausch on ESPN Wisconsin, and their producer, Jesse Nelson, who's also a huge Packers fan, is on board with you.
About the Lions?
He's now rooting for the Lions.
They're endearing. What can I say?
You've now gotten Packers fans to root for the Lions because of the story.
I don't think there's anything wrong with looking at a long-suffering fan base and being excited for them and the potential that they could finally get to the promised land after so many years of heartbreak.
There it was.
Pretty good. I think we've already investigated Jesse's fandom. And I don't use this term often.
Uh-oh.
Jesse's Packer fandom is fraudulent.
Oh, boy. I knew that was the word he was going to use.
I hate that word. I don't use it. If you guys know, people say that I don't use that term.
You don't like the word hate either, but you did use it
I
just
don't
now.
dislike. Well, I mean, sometimes it comes out. Jesse Nelson was born a Packers fan. Jesse Nelson was a Packers fan until 2008.
Mm-hmm.
He then gave his fandom away chasing Brett Favre.
Mm-hmm.
I played with Brett Favre, and there's nobody I wanted to beat more than when he was with Minnesota.
Well, you were on the Packers.
I understand, but I'm
a little different.
It's not, though. My
Shouldn't
family was the same way.
Shouldn't be.
You're a Packers fan, you're a Packers fan. So that alone put my antennas were way up on you from the jump when you started producing this show.
I've never liked you.
And you've doubled down on that. And now, while the Lions are not our biggest rival in our long history as being a Packer fan, right now they are the arch enemy. They are the team that knocked us out 3 years ago. when they didn't have anything to play for. Mm-hmm. They've won the division the last 2 years. They are the belle of the ball. And you're going to root for them? They're the ones that have beaten us down and impeded our team from going. So I can't get on board. So, Jesse, I have to question whether or not you're actually a Packers fan.
It is.
After I just went through your last 10 years of history as a Packer.
Right. If I may quickly interject, I'm with you. I'm Team Jesse and Team Michelle Smallman. I want to see the Lions get to their first Super Bowl.
That doesn't
but that's
support
the
the cause.
point. I'm not a fan.
So I don't know if I could
for the story.
Jesse, I don't know if you're a fan of the Packers. I think you're a fraudulent fan.
That's got to hurt.
It does.
FFF.
It does hurt. Allow me to explain myself a little bit further. Because in addition to being a great story and feeling for the fans of Detroit after I went there on that cold, dreary
spend a beautiful
January Sunday with half the bars closed in the entertainment district before the game. The one restaurant that was open closed at like 5 o'clock. We had to scramble over there when the game ended to try and get food before it closed. Here's the thing. It benefits the Green Bay Packers for the Lions to not have unfinished business at the end of this season. The last thing I think we want as Packers fans is Ben Johnson coming back, Aaron Glenn coming back.
You want him to go to the Super Bowl and have the San Francisco feeling.
Yes. I want
or
the Lions
NFC
in the
Championship.
Super Bowl.
They can't even get there.
And then the band is going to break up. Ben Johnson's going to say, I
That's
don't
not
need to
what
come
you
back
said,
to
though.
Detroit. That's
Small
part
wants
of
to
it.
win.
That's all
They
part
want their
of
fans
it.
to feel better. They want to see the long suffering.
You can
I
have
learned
both.
a lesson.
You can have both. Also,
if they win the whole thing, it doesn't matter, Jesse.
For the real rivals, the Vikings and the Bears, how funny would it be to say the Lions made a Super Bowl more recently than those teams did?
And Green Bay.
Exactly.
No, you're bashing your own fan base.
No, I'm not. I'm saying
anybody else having flashbacks to Tony Cartagena wanting the Vikings to win a title?
But this is even more absurd than that.
I'm not even saying I want them to win the title. I just want them in the game. I want Buffalo to win it.
That's not what you said.
No, I don't want the Lions to win the Super Bowl. I want the
just
Lions
don't
to
think-
represent the NFC.
I think you're more Jason Wilde than you think. I don't think you're a fan. I think
Boy,
you're an
that's gotta
observer of
hurt.
this. You're an
That's
observer
gotta
of this
sting.
team. You sleep at games. You fall asleep at games. You root for the Minnesota Vikings vehemently for a 5-year window. Then you root for the Detroit Lions, who have completely gutted us the last 3 years. I don't know, Jim.
Break up the band. Let Detroit have its moment now that we're out of it. Go ahead and go get there. Get to the game. Break it up. Let us reign supreme next year.
I'm not gonna let this. I'm done. You can't do this because this is. Speaking of fraudulent, this is searching for a way to explain this away. I got news for you. Ben Johnson's getting a head coaching
He's
job.
gonna be the Raiders
whether
coach.
they win the Super Bowl, whether they make the Super Bowl or not. Okay, so that's one. He's
Leave
going to
no
go
doubt.
coach Aiden O'Connell or whoever. So to say that you want them to get to the Super Bowl so it breaks up the band, you know that's like after the fact, after you've caught some smoke now. Secondly, there's nothing wrong with cheering for the story. Don't be bullied. This doesn't make you a bad Packers fan. It doesn't.
No, it does.
It can
his
be
his
both.
history. His history leads to be that.
Well,
it's
his
a bad
history is what the problem is here. If you
Correct.
didn't already have the Favre incident, you might get some grace.
and the nappy sleepy time.
On 2
That's
hours
another
sleep
layer
for a
to the
noon
story.
game, and it was in hand. We were taking care of the Washington football team just fine that day.
We're as much as I'd love to continue.
Jesse,
to try
here's
and
the deal. You
help
have
you out of
taken
here.
Jason's side on so many issues on this show, which I appreciate because I want you to be authentic and I
This is
want
my
you to have a
comeuppance,
voice.
isn't it?
You have molded into Jason Wilde.
that's
You are
gotta
no
sting.
longer a fan. You are a story and an observer of what is going on. And that's okay. But don't run from it then. Now you're trying to run back into your little Packer fandom, and it's not there. You're not there.
That's it for Wonelli.
That hurts.
J&J, the Observers.
On a
That
national
could be a new
stage.
pod. J&J, the Observers. No fandom allowed.
The Sports Observers.
Sounds like a podcast to me. More work for Jesse, which is exactly what he wants. We'll wrap things up next. late. It's Wilde and Tausch.
We're on the Packers.
For me, the next year, this upcoming year,
because we're on Wisconsin sports.
It's when I'm judging Jordan Love on a lot of things.
Nobody covers the green and gold like 100.5 ESPN.
When it comes to security for your home and family, you want a winner, and we found one when we placed our trust with J&K Security Solutions. This is Greg Gard. Kim and Jeff hit the game-winning shot for us with the Control 4 home technology system. Home or away, from our smartphones, we can open the garage door, dim the lights, turn on the TV, as well as arm the security system. That's convenience as well as peace of mind. Let J&K Security Solutions do for your home or business like they've done for us. Call 255-5799 or online at jksecurity.com.
Rah. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin present your Badger Minute. Here's Pablo Iglesias.
This Badger Minute brought to you by the Great Dane Pub and Brewing Company, Madison's home for craft beer and pub food since 1994. Find the Great Dane nearest you and check out the menu at greatdanepub.com. Love Madison Volleyball makes its home debut Friday night at the UW Fieldhouse, a familiar spot for Sarah Franklin. The former Badger turned pro talked about making the jump to the next level, a day-by-day process for the 2023 National Player of the Year.
When you're going into a whole new level of volleyball, you're not going to be fantastic at the first go of it. You know, it's a new ball, it's new girls. So I think being able to kind of slow it down for myself and just being able to give myself some grace, but then still being able to be loose and going and attacking the ball and attacking the serve. So definitely taking it a little bit slower and not getting too ahead of myself.
Pella can make your home as beautiful on the outside as it is comfortable on the inside. Celebrate the new year with 0% interest for up to 3 years at PellaWI.com.
Mark Tosher here for Pizza Hut, where the number 7 just got luckier. You already know how much I love Pizza Hut, but have you heard about Pizza Hut's $7 Deal Lovers menu? Enjoy all your Pizza Hut favorites like pizza, boneless wings, melts, cheese sticks, and more for just $7 each when you buy 2 or more. With the $7 Deal Lovers menu, you don't have to choose between great taste and great value. You can have a both. Order on the app or online at pizzahut.com. The $7 Deal Lovers menu, only at Pizza Hut. No one out-pizzas the Hut.
At UW Credit Union, our home loans have everything you need for your next big step, including up to $750 off closing costs for all home buyers. And first-time buyers can save even more. So if you're ready to trade roomies for more room, or your townhome for an out-of-town home, UW Credit Union will be with you from start to furnished. UW Credit Union. Apply online today. Equal housing lender. Credit may be limited as required by program. Visit uwcu.org for details.
Outside in. That's what we call our Siding Unlimited showroom at 2018 South Stoughton Road. All the stuff defending the outside of your home against Wisconsin's weather displayed inside. Many siding options and colors, plus full display of Pella windows and patio doors, and roofing too. Wisconsin's own Siding Unlimited, 4-time National Pella Platinum Premier Contractor of the Year, and proud partner of Wisconsin Athletics, awaits you inside our showroom at 2018 South Stoughton Road. SidingUnlimited.com.
It's New Year, new deals at Metro Ford of Madison. With 204 new vehicles in stock, Metro Ford is your home for the best selection and the biggest savings of 2025. Enjoy the 2024 Ford Escape with 1.9% APR for 66 months, $15.97 per thousand borrowed. Or get the future of driving with the 2024 Ford Mach-E at 0% APR financing for 72 months. But hurry, these deals end February 3rd. Visit Metro Ford in person or online at metrofordofmadison.com and drive off in the new Ford of your dreams today.
I'm Dr. Jasmine Zapata, Chief Medical Officer for Community Health at the Wisconsin Department of Health Services. Every year in the U.S., about 21,000 lung cancer deaths are caused by radon, an odorless, tasteless, and colorless gas. 1 in 10 Wisconsin homes has high levels of radon. Does yours? Call 1-888-LOW-RADON or visit lowradon.org to learn more. Test, fix, save a life.
Sponsored by the Wisconsin Department of Health Services.
We're on the Packers.
Did we crown Jordan Love as the next Hall of Fame quarterback early?
Because we're on Wisconsin sports.
That is a fair question to ask.
Nobody covers the green and gold like 100.5 ESPN.
We are way late, but it was worth every
breaking
second.
news, though. Whoa.
Mike McCarthy, the new coach of the Bears.
Guess who has thrown their hat in the ring for Packers quarterback coach?
Steve the Homer True.
Who has been rumored to have had interest before that you don't like?
Dan Orlovsky.
I think Dan Orlovsky's going to be the new Packers quarterback coach. You heard it here last, because I just read it from Packers coverage on Twitter, but very interesting.
I think Sean Mannion is going to be the next Packers quarterbacks coach.
I hope it's D.O.
That would be so fun.
Mainly
for
just
us.
for you two to go button heads.
I'll tell him how I feel.
Oh, I know
We'll
you
see how
will.
it goes. All right, now we're even later for that nonsense. But hey, maybe it's not nonsense.
Nonsense? Orlovsky put out a real interesting tweet, too. Knowing your worth and all this other stuff. So the old Hansel and Gretel, I know you threw the poster away.
I did not. I just left
Those
it behind.
breadcrumbs are leading towards D.O. maybe being the QB coach.
That's it for us today. Have a great
A
day.
lot of
Take
movement,
care. Be
play action
good.
movement out of there.
Miss any of today's episode of Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin? Commercial-free full show podcasts are available free on Wisconsin On Demand.
Mark Tusher here for Chalmers Jewelers. I've been a big fan of Scott, Garrett, and the whole team at Chalmers Jewelers for years now. I go there, my friends go there, and most importantly, my wife loves it whenever I get her something from Chalmers Jewelers. It's my go-to spot for birthdays, anniversaries, and any special occasion. For quality jewelry and a great experience, choose Chalmers Jewelers, the place to go for that perfect gift. Stop at Chalmers Jewelers in Middleton and Madison.
Chalmers Jewelers in Middleton
and Madison. Hey, it's Kelly Sheffield, Wisconsin Badgers volleyball head coach. You're listening to 100.5 ESPN, WTLX, Monona, Madison, a good Karma Brands radio station.
Broadcasting live from the Everlight Solar Studio, this is your Metro Kia of Madison Sports Center.
Good morning, Madison and streamers everywhere. I'm Jesse Nelson, Sports Center, brought to you by Stoughton Health, providing experienced physicians, nurses, therapists, technicians, and staff for personalized, forward-thinking, expert healthcare. Stoughton Health, trusted care close to home. The postseason debrief continues following the Packers' loss to the Eagles on Sunday in the wild card round. Yesterday, head coach Matt Lafleur meeting with the media at Lambeau Field talked about wanting Jordan Love to be more of a vocal leader next season.
I think the next step is just to continue to evolve as a vocal leader. I think that just kind of comes with the position naturally, and I think he's taken steps to get there, but I think he can really demand a lot.
Plenty of reaction to that commentary and more from the Packers head coach today on Wilde and Tausch, including former Packers offensive lineman Bryan Bulaga joining the show. If you missed any of the conversation, find it on Apple, Spotify, Wisconsin On Demand, wherever you get your podcasts. Also, subscribe to the ESPN Madison YouTube channel. Basketball winners all around the state last night. 24th ranked Wisconsin, 70-68 at the Kohl Center over Ohio State. Greg Gard's 200th career victory, third fastest coach in program history to 200 wins. 7th ranked Marquette in overtime, 85-83 at DePaul. The Bucks beat the Kings 130-115.
Metro Kia of Madison, Madison's trusted Kia dealer. Stop into Metro Kia on the east side of Madison or metrokiaofmadison.com.
And I'll say it without hesitation, is the best receiver that this city's ever seen. And it's hard for me to watch when people are getting on him without doing the proper research.